-5 right now here.
Ooh.
Which isn't
out the wind.
I mean, it sounds bad, but it's not actually that bad. Like
No, well, we got a little bit of humidity, so it is.
That's okay. I think I was over in Nebraska. Wind chill was like -20 something. It wasn't that bad. It was fine.
Oh, it's your birthday today?
It is my birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
All right, let's sing happy. Just kidding.
Yeah, don't sing. Although, something funny. So you know how you have birthday candles on a birthday cake? So Crystal got me little mini Tabasco bottles.
Let's go.
To replace.
That's a week's worth.
I know, right? It's like she also put them in my Christmas stocking too. So like typically for like a breakfast, I'll use like 4 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Which it's not a lot. All right. Hey everybody. It is that time of week. It is time for the RC Drift Talk show with me, Logan, DJ, and our guest, Marc. I don't know how you say your last name. And that's okay. We don't need it.
Maciejewski.
Okay. I'm not even going to try.
Polish names are fun.
He is part of, well, not part, you are basically Mile High, right?
Yep. I started it all a few years ago, and I mean, I have other people that work for me a little bit, but it's just here and there.
Right on. Right on.
So yeah, it's basically just me.
All right. So we're going to do our normal things, and we'll see if we can get through all of it. If not, same idea. We have our normal Discord chats going. We've got the roast of my rig, which we have a few of my rigs up there now for sale. Someone actually posted something for sale. And then product watch, roast my workbench, all that fun stuff. We're going to be also going through a kind of, well, here's the docket. So calendar events, we're going to go over some cool things there, especially about Super G. We'll go at do product watch. And then I have a comment that I want to talk about the Radio Master TX12, and then solid axle builds, Arduinos in RC, and pretty much whatever goes from there. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. You know what to do. We'll try to answer them as they come in. Yeah. So let's get going. I should have one of you do the bag interview, but you don't have the bags.
Yeah, I don't have a bag.
So, Marc, what we're going to do first is we're going to do what's called the bag interview, and you've seen it before.
I have.
I'm pulling all the questions out of the bag. So I don't have to actually dig through them. And in chat, we've got Jose, we've got Cameron, and we got Brandon. Or I should stick to screen names. Hey, Cameron, question for you. Are you still going to be using that ball diff for the Golem? If not, I might need it. Okay. So, Marc, let's just start off with, like, who you are and where you're from. Can you tell us where you're from?
All right. I'm based in Denver. Obviously, that's in Colorado. So I've been doing drifting. I started drifting about 20 years ago. So HPI Sprint 2, when it first came out, I had that as my first chassis. And I've been on and off, obviously. And then found Scale Science about 5 years ago, and got back into it hardcore again. I was, before that, into crawling. So I've always been doing a lot of scale stuff.
Right on.
So it was a pretty easy transition to get back into drifting. I'm like, yep, it's scale too. That works.
Did you go through the whole generation of gyros? Gyros are bad. Gyros are for those who can't drift. Because of all-wheel drive.
Not really. I mean, well, when I was doing it, like the D1 drift box, from HPI was the gyro, and it did not help at all.
Okay.
It did. it made it worse. So yeah, you were just fighting the gyro the whole time. Even when you went to counter steer, it was like, yeah, you're still fighting the gyro. And then trying the other ones, most of them doing analog servos, not digital. So they weren't working the same as they do now. Like now you can plug in a V4 and a Rev D servo, and you could just honestly throw it on the track, and it's drivable.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not gonna be great, but it's drivable.
Right. Will it drift? Yes. Will it drift well? Maybe. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. I mean, it does better than an MST, stock one, because that's an analog one where it has a slow response. Yeah, it's just not great.
I mean, they've had quite a few upgrades as well. Like,
yes.
Yeah. We got Boardhead 27 in the room. Sup, dudes? Not much. Just doing the thing. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get to it here. And DJ, Logan, if you have any questions, throw it up. Don't throw up. Tell us your questions. Okay, what is your favorite brand of radio?
Ooh. Gotta be Futaba. It's just for drifting, yeah, it's definitely Futaba. It's just the response time and how much it's in the community. Yeah, you could ask someone about it, and yeah, you'll get an answer usually. So I've been using them for a good while now. I mean, I had a 4PL when I was using the crawlers, because it was the only one that had 4-wheel steering at the time. Spectrum didn't have that. And then I went to Spectrum once I started doing more bashers, just because I could put, 20 cars on there.
Mm-hmm.
And had the Fly Skies. I still have them sitting in a pile of garbage, basically.
Oh.
But now that I have the Radio Master MP12, all those receivers are going to come in handy, because now I could use them for random projects. Whether if they're just controlling lights or, winch, anything.
How many protocols are actually are on the radio that you can bind to?
So they say 170 plus.
Okay.
It's usable ones like 40.
Right. Because they say like 4-in-1 or the ELRS, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of slightly deceiving when you think about it like that.
Yeah, the ELRS is definitely a different type of protocol. It's still using, obviously, if you've done drones, Crossfire's been around for a while. It's based off of Crossfire. So it's using the same type of protocol, but they obviously extended it, and that's why it's ELRS, Extended Long Range Signal.
Yep. And they're tiny receivers.
Well, they're okay. So this is an Arduino ESP32.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically what they're using for the receiver. So it's that size. Obviously they just have to put the pinouts for it, and that's it.
Right. Okay.
They're using the C3 model of the ESP32. So if you want to build one yourself, you could build one for about $8 to $10.
Does anyone have the sketch up for it?
It's on ELRS's GitHub, honestly.
There you go.
But they don't lay it out perfectly for you.
Mm-hmm.
But the information is there.
Right. So you'd probably need some sort of existing knowledge of whatever, digital in or analog out or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Favorite brand of motor?
Ooh. This is gonna throw a curveball, but Trinity.
Race motor. Okay.
Yeah.
Any
if we're
specific?
I like their older stuff. I haven't gotten any of their newer stuff. The D3.5 or the D4 series. I still have I think 3 or 4 of those motors, and they're probably 7, 8 years old, and they're still trucking it with all the other drifters. But if I'm using newer stuff, it's all AccuVance Agile, or when they had the BS Dual, I bought I think 8 or 9 BS Duals because they were cheap. Yeah. They did great too. You were $70 and you're like, okay, it's better than a Yokomo motor. what else out there is there for $70? Honestly,
Right. The Eco Power motors from
even
Horizon Hobby.
those aren't bad, but they're not great either.
Right.
They'll still keep up though.
Right. And they're not torque. They're not like a race motor where it's just all torque. So they do fine.
Yes.
What car do you currently drive the most?
Ooh,
What chassis?
Rhino Max 1.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
the good looking one.
Oh, I mean, they're both good looking.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said one. So that's the full carbon spec.
Yep.
Not the black and red one.
No, black and red is
That
the
is a VG.
Rhino Max 2.
Yeah.
Which I got it back there actually. No. Like the Rhino Max 1's right here.
Let's see. Adam, do you need any other GOM parts, or are you set other than the diff? I might need some steering knuckles and axles. But other than that, I've got a DDSS on order and some B blocks. So that should be it. I don't know if I've... Yeah, Yokomo B blocks for suspension.
Oh, okay.
For toe blocks. What is your favorite candy?
I don't know if it counts, but
Yes, it does.
counts the candy. Yeah, the Hello Pandas. Preferably the chocolate, but I got vanilla right now, and yeah.
Right on. Okay, favorite body?
I've had it a few times now, so it's got to be the HPI Silverado.
Silverado.
Yeah.
Okay.
The green and blue guy right here.
Oh, hey, we had who was it? I think Justin that ran the Oval program over at Northwest had like a bunch of those come through Northwest, and they were trying to get rid of them.
They're like $30 too. It's like, yeah, you can't beat that. I mean, they're not detailed like crazy, but you could beat it up and
not feel bad.
But yeah, I mean, I have my second HPI body from about 18 years ago. It was the first body I ever painted. I backed it with Gorilla Tape, and it's still alive.
Gorilla Tape. Okay. How far is Scale Science from you? Like, how far is your commute there?
Less than 10 minutes.
Nice.
It's so close. So where they're located is where RC Basement used to be.
Okay.
And that's where I was working at the time. So I was there 6 days a week. So when Scale Science moved there and they were open 5 days a week, it was normal for me to be there still 5 days a week. Even the landlords were still talking to me like I was still there, like it was my workplace. But yeah, it all changed. I don't go there as often now. I go there probably like 3 or 4 times a week, but I don't drive as much.
That's still more than me.
I like how not that often is 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot.
I mean, when it's, less than 10 minutes away, you can't not go.
Yeah.
I just go and hang out, talk to the other drivers.
Yeah.
The hangout, that's what it's for.
Yep.
Just to get out of the home. Like, yesterday and today have been absolutely horrible for me because I didn't go anywhere just because of the supposed snow that's basically sheets of ice right now. Oh, yeah. We're in Oregon right now. We have just ice.
It's just raining ice.
Yeah. It's not snow. Like, I walked out to go take out my garbage, and, like, you take a step on the snow, the snow, and it wouldn't compress.
Oh.
Yeah. You could slide across it, though. That was fun. It wasn't like ice, though, so.
I'm getting too old for that. Stability.
Can you tell us a little bit about Scale Science, though? Like, so if we went there, what a daily track fee would cost and all that fun stuff? Spec tire.
So spec tire, they're running LF 5Ts.
The treaded ones?
No.
The competition.
LF 5Cs then, yeah. LF 5Cs, my bad. Yeah, they have their own branded one that has scale science on it and everything. That's the main one, but DRCs, the Rev D ASO ones, you'll see those. Some people are still running top line. They're not too picky on it as long as it's not, smudging up the surface. You're not a race car.
Mm-hmm.
The Velinos, 080Cs, I do run those. The RS is a no go. And yeah, the buzz brakes, everyone just got those in, and it seems like the buzz brakes are doing pretty good too.
What are those? I've never heard of those.
So those are
Buzz brakes.
the new RCDC standard tire. They're made by Velino. That's just their secondary company. Buzz brake is like their Japanese tire, like actual rubber tire. But they're branding it as America's tire. Um, yeah,
Okay.
so it's all American logos, and yeah, they're called the Drift Stars. Is the like the treaded logo or treaded pattern. So
Gotcha.
it is still based off of a real tire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's nice about it.
Do you like what kind of surface is that for?
So they're saying for P-tile or polished concrete.
Now, and it's actually a rubber tire or just modeled
No,
after a rubber.
it's just
rubber.
modeled after
Okay.
it.
Okay. I'm like, what are they doing?
It's not like the old Yokomo rubber ones that were actually slippery and you could actually drift pretty well with them.
Gotcha. Okay. Logan, you probably have no idea. No, both of you. Logan and DJ only got into this like less than a year ago.
Yeah, and the Yokomo rubbers are ancient almost now. I haven't seen
Hey,
those in at least 7 years.
hey. I never had them. I started off with HPI T drifts,
I mean, I still run T drifts.
where you have to boil them tires.
Yep. That's
And
mainly because the HPI wheels, they were
yep,
so tight. But if you run a T drift on, say, a Rev D tire or wheel, oh yeah, it slips right on. It's nice.
gotcha. Okay, what's your favorite brand of chassis? Your
Uh,
go-to chassis?
that's Rhino Max. So Rhino Racing.
Do you have any intel on if they're doing a Gen 3, a version 3?
So the only intel we've been given in the last like year and a half is no. They're focusing on racing. They're not focusing on scale realistic, builds anymore. They want competition wins because they see more money in that. And I don't
Yeah,
blame them.
Yeah,
I feel
I
that.
mean, a lot of people bought sharks.
Oh, tons of them.
Well, I mean, that's what won.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
seems
mean,
to be working out.
I had the DDSS probably like 5 or 6 months before the Shark even came out
So when it was like MK Works or
when it was
whatever it
the
was.
MK Works, and then they came out with the second one. I bought the second one, and then they dropped the Shark right after it, and so I've been using the DDSS for a while, and it's definitely my preferred choice. Secondary is going to be the Bell Crank from Rev D.
Same sentiment. Like I remember first seeing the DDSS to begin with. One of our guys thought it was the absolute coolest thing, and I was super skeptical, just because it looked absolutely abstract and it seemed like it had no space, like no real place in the like where we were at. But hey, that's what I run. Favorite motor turn?
11.5
Well, that's your AccuVance BS tool right there.
or the Agile.
Agile oh yeah, Agile
Yeah,
comes.
I think they only offer it in the Silver Mist still, but I've had all the colors. I even had the opposite jackets when they still had jackets available.
Right, when it was actually customizable. Yeah.
Yep,
But now you just have to buy the color.
yep.
You
I mean,
can still switch them out, but yeah,
it's not as fun.
no. What is your go-to electronic setup?
Oh, Hobby Wing XR10 Pro.
Any
Always.
reason why?
I've been using them for 15 years now, almost.
Okay, so would you call
Hobby
it
Wing's just my personal preference.
just out of a loyalty thing, or just you know that it works every single time?
It's become a loyalty thing because it has worked every single time. I mean, I have an AccuVance setup. I don't like it as much. Too much of a learning curve, honestly.
No.
So I would just take someone else's tune, and the tune wasn't right for me.
Mhm.
So with Hobby Wing, I could go in there and just put it doop. I know what I want to change. It's easy enough to tune. I could show someone else how to do it too, so they could do their own car when they need to, instead of being like, "Hey, how do I tune this?"
Mhm. And that's even with the fact that like the values are the same, just slightly different names.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. The name's really on Hobby Wing is simple, and no, they haven't changed the names in forever. So it's been the same thing over and over. Now
So
we
that
don't have to press a set button for everything, which is nice.
that actually brings up a question. Because Hobbywing ESCs, they have like in their punch and their brake settings, they have like first and second stages. What is the difference, or do you know the difference between those? Like, is it just where it's actuated, or is it just
On the brushless, they shouldn't have the punch settings anymore. That's more for the brush settings or the sensorless, because they can't really control it. So your punch settings would turn into boost, really.
mm-hmm.
So that's where you're mostly all your punch is going to be. If you want earlier punch, yeah, you would turn your boost obviously a little bit lower, like to start at 6,000 RPM maybe, versus 12,000 RPM.
Okay. And well, as far as because it's always confused me about the whole first and second stage thing. So that's I was hoping to figure that out. Not related to boost though, or at least not that I think of it is. I would need to pull out my programmer and look through it. Um, but yeah, it's weird because it's like an extra step in the process instead of just being a one stage type of thing. I don't think it's any more difficult than what I'm thinking that it is. It's just I've never really played with it. It's always been like a default value for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it is whatever. Especially since it's like not my preferred go-to electronic setup, but I use it when I can. Okay, keep on going. Do you have a specialization in the hobby? Which I know you do.
I have a few. I mean, most of the guys at Scale Science know me as the mad scientist,
Mm-hmm.
because I come in with the, the wackiest stuff that they didn't think would ever drift, or stuff that's innovative that they didn't think of. That's gonna hopefully change the game. Whether my stuff is kind of basic, it's really just the foot in the door to get other people thinking like, hey, I know I could build this. Let's build something better.
Are you the reason for the Scale Science logo?
No, no, that's before me.
Aw. Let's see. This question is suspension. Do you like a firm suspension, like a slow rebound, or do you like a nice bouncy suspension?
So I still tune my shocks with full rebound,
Mm-hmm.
just like I did when I was racing. So yeah, it is a pretty stiff rebound for most of my cars.
Do you have a typical shock build? Like how heavy of an oil are you running?
Just about everything's 10 oil or 10 weight oil.
10 weight,
Yeah, I have like 8 bottles of that.
right? Do you have a preferred brand name, like Associated or Yokomo or Axon?
I use the Yokomo.
Okay. And you guys can readily get it?
Oh yeah, I mean A main carries it too, so it's always just an add to the cart to get free shipping.
Mhm. There you go. Let's see. Anything in chat? No, not really. impossible to get the proprietary parts for it. It was a bad design to begin with, so I'm fixing it. Fixing what, Bart? Oh, the Orioli.
Oh,
Yeah.
where would I put it? Oh, it's all the way back there.
Oh, you
I-
have one?
No, I started designing something just like their design. So I'm like, oh, it's so different. But
Mhm.
I like to run the McPherson struts.
Okay. Well, I
So
mean that, like Rhino, right? Rhino
yeah,
Max.
Rhino
Yeah.
Max. I built a few of my own, and I think I bought most of Super G stock of the Kamikaze McPherson strut add-on.
For like the YD2s.
Yep. Like you saw
Okay.
it on their site, but it was out of stock always. That was because of me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lance, you know who to buy one from now.
I only have one still new in package. All the other ones are used.
Gotcha. Okay, let's kick it over to calendar events for a second here. Which I'm surprised I didn't do it first. So calendar events, we've got your tried and true Tandem Tuesdays, which now we've got a series going on. Is that series currently going on, Logan?
Yep,
and DJ?
we had the first round of it last week. So we're gonna do 8 rounds of that, and we'll keep 2 drops. And then I talked with Kevin Friday, and so the points will just be a simple 3-2-1 deal. So first gets 3, second gets 2, third gets 1. Everybody else gets nothing. And whoever has the most points at the end of the series will get sounds like a pretty cool trophy that Kevin is working on.
Nice.
Yeah,
Right on.
that's fun.
How do you
We had
think?
about 10 people Friday or Tuesday, so it was a good round.
Okay. Way better than what I've heard of as far
Yeah.
as attendance.
Yeah.
Do you think that actually putting in the idea of a series is what's helping it?
I don't know. I couldn't really get a read on if people were, concerned too much. I couldn't tell if it was that or just happened to be a good night, because that does happen occasionally too.
Mhm.
I mean, I would even say like in the last few weeks, mostly they've been pretty decent turnouts. But yeah, we'll see.
Let's see. How do you what are your feelings with it kind of being run at the same time as the current PDX series?
It's fine with me. I mean, it's definitely still like a less serious and less important. I mean, the current series is not that important anyways, but uh yeah, I mean, it's just a nice way for, you know, the locals to get more seat time in that environment. So um the main series is always going to have more people coming out since it's less frequent and kind of more special, but yeah, it's fine.
What about you, DJ? Are you there too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that that core group always comes out and try to get more people out. It's hard to do on a Tuesday, but it's all right. And then as my stand on having a series on top of a series is, we have our, legit one where that's where we're gonna have, people that travel from, up north, some down south, or just from wherever, that we have just the local kind of series where it's just because it's on a Tuesday too, so not many people can, come out from far on a Tuesday night. So you'll just have like a little local series and have that going on.
If you had tacos, I think it'd be better.
Honestly, I think we need to call a taco truck, come out and
Yeah, I don't
just
think
sit
there's
out
enough of
there.
us for that.
Yeah, to
We
make it
You got the
worthwhile.
buggy guys though. Buggy
yeah,
guys will go eat.
hopefully in the summer we get the hot dogs going again. That was pretty cool.
Tandem Taco
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Tuesday. Tandem Tuesday is just super cheap, fun, chill little jam session to test your chops. Test your might. Okay, moving on. We've got the first annual ProTech RC PDX Drift Series presented by A Main Hobbies. January 21st is the next round, so that is next weekend. Hopefully the ice decides to go away and we can get our Canada guys coming down with like full on safety. And then we've also got our Washington guys coming down as well, I believe. And then after that, February 11th, March 10th are the following rounds. Spec tires are DRCs, DRPs, and RevD ASO1s. Moving on to April 12th to the 14th, the Northwest Model and Hobby Expo in Monroe, Washington. Start thinking about your hotels now, you guys. There is only one like actual Best Western there, and it's not bad. It's fine. But think about it now instead of later, or else you won't have a place to stay, or you'll be at a hotel or a campgrounds. Take your pick. And then October 4th, 5th, and 6th is Super G Worlds. And a few things to mention about this, because we are doing a Super G series. We don't know exact dates yet, or do we? I don't think so.
I don't think we've made them official yet, so I wouldn't want to announce them.
Yep, so tentatively. But there are a few things that I do want to bring up here, just in the idea of, like, if you are listening in and you are wanting to, like, start your own series. One is, of course, the whole 150-mile radius type of thing going on. You need to be more than 150 miles away to be able to create your own Super G series for qualifications. Minimum requirements for Super G, more specifically, the minimum requirements for Super G to cover your top qualifier, hotel accommodations. There must be the series must be registered and approved by STC, which they're already doing that right now. Oregon is one of them. Must have a minimum of 4 regional rounds. 6 to 8 is preferred, which I believe we were thinking about 6, which is 1 more than last year for the Oregon series. Must have a minimum of 8 competitors in each round. That's down from 14 from last year, so that makes it easier. Must maintain standings throughout the season. Instructions to follow. I think that's just the host of the series is actually keeping track of the points instead of sending them over to Super G for them to attempt to try to keep track. I think their email said 600 plus registrants.
Yeah.
Is not easy to keep track of. So with that, Logan, DJ, did you want to go anywhere specific or do anything specific right now?
Just one question from chat is if the DRC is still a spec tire at PDX. Yeah, absolutely. There's still P's and C's and the Rev D tire as well. There's the same as always, still usable. There's also some Rev D tires in stock at PDX right now, so if you're wanting to try those out. We're not really, the P's are definitely the fastest tire, but they're like shredding really fast now too, so we're kind of trying to see if there's something else that would work better for us, but
I think that's directly related with how fast the track changes color from
yeah,
like
probably.
trying to strip all the wax and all that. Or
Yeah.
it's not even waxed, right? It's just sealed.
It's waxed and sealed.
Time to spray the slick stuff on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You want to hop over to the roastin', Logan?
Sure.
Let's do that.
Where are we at? I don't remember.
Yesterday or last week was the 6th, so anything after that. So let's go on Trey's post, which I think are the same thing. Hold on. Let me do the thing. Mark, how long have you been watching the streams for?
Ooh, I don't know. Has it been about a year now?
Yeah, so November was the actual year marker for the channel.
So I think I watched one of you guys' streams before. It wasn't the stream. I watched it, the day or two after. So it popped up in my feed. But it was before Jordan from Scale Science was on here.
Okay.
And then since then, I just been picking up more and more. And I think the last 2 months I've been on every week.
Right on. I'm sorry.
No, I kind of miss it though. Like Scale Science used to do every Thursday. They had a live
Right.
podcast too. And it was just something nice to tune into to be able to talk to people. And we got people in New Zealand right now tuning in and just be able to chat with them. What's going on around the world and seeing
Yep.
everything's the same, but styles are a little different. That's the only thing that's the only difference, really.
Right. Right. Yep, that made it worse. So what do we got here? We got Trey's, Travis 2, Shark. The chassis that we've seen before.
Yeah.
His HRC springs. Oh my gosh. That guy.
Are those like titanium springs or something?
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Anything
No.
anything HRC is not cheap.
Yeah.
Nope.
See, we've got Jake with his R Design MD1
Yeah.
chassis.
It's one of the prototypes.
Yep. With
Thing's looking pretty dusty, that whole car. Needs, I don't know, he's driving in his garage too much or what?
I mean, he has his garage that he can do that. So drifting every day for him, as long as he wants to do that.
He should also get one of those air blower
The
things.
blowers.
Yeah. He has so
Okay.
many weights just like attached all over that thing.
That's
But-
what I'm looking at. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of weights. And they're
I
all
mean-
up high.
It's not that bad.
There's 4
Oh, on the back.
on the back, yeah, and they're attached to. It
There's
looks like
4
one
up
of
front
those
too.
plate-
So I think each one of the big ones is 10 grams, I think.
10 grams, I believe, yeah.
So 40, and then those are 5 each on the wheels. So 50 grams total, just weight. Jake has all the weights. He only has all the weights because he owned an RER.
Oh my,
Like, I kid you not.
It needs more weight. The RER just needs a little bit more weight. That's all. That's the fix.
I think he's got 4 of the 5-gram ones in the front because there's 2. At least I assume there's 2 on the front shock tower.
Like, all of the RERs that I've seen are like weighing in at more than like 1,600 grams at least. It's crazy.
Yeah, 10 grams each.
This isn't a rig, but this is Jose.
Roast my radio.
It's he has wrap around his trigger.
What are you
Holy
doing?
cow. I didn't notice that.
Hold on, let me get this bigger.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, it's not bad. It's fine.
There are some times when I'm in a train where I have to reposition my finger because it gets a little sweaty.
We need like little finger wrist wraps,
I'm gonna start wearing silicone gloves.
sweatbands on your finger.
Maybe I should wear my race gloves just in case.
There you go.
Fill the gap.
I do have a problem occasionally where my finger will come out of the trigger, like mid drift. That's pretty fun.
See?
I mean, but there's so many ways that you can fix that. Like, so wrapping the trigger. That's totally a legitimate way of doing it. You can also, on one of them, I used crafting foam, just to.
I've tried
get in
like
on that.
tire foam on it before. I didn't really like it.
That would have been equivalent to the crafting foam.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's get real in on this. It's too big. Hold on. Oh,
It's too big.
yeah, it's. You guys can think what you want.
So is it wrap or is it? It looks like gloves, like the dollar store gloves.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. We need some clarification on that, Jose.
That would be pretty sweet, actually. Dollar store hack. It's felt wrap. Okay.
So it's like
oh,
sticky.
so like, no, it's the opposite. Like it's just the stuff that you use in like cars to silence the
Turbo.
no the vibrations, like
Oh.
when stuff is rattling and crap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one. Oh, whatever. But it's not a bad hack. The other mods that you can do is you can just buy like the S or the SS trigger. Like, if anyone's used my radio, I have the SS trigger from Futaba. The only bad thing is that it's a $30 piece of metal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. That's not crazy.
Okay, and then here's me. So you've seen this before, although this isn't. It's not the same. So this is what we call a yogi, or at least my version of a yogi. And then what I did is I took Lance's deck and I put the GALM transmission and a DDSS on top of this. So I'm actually missing 2 screws, one right here, or those 2 screws for the transmission itself. But it enables more flex, not having them there.
Okay.
But this is something that I'll test next weekend.
So what, did you just get bored? Or are you just curious, or?
Yeah, I just get bored, so I do things. which led into this. So I took the actual Yogi deck, and I am building a low motor Yogi. So low motor, high battery, and then it'll have a DDSS on it sometime next week. Here's my own roast right here, because I don't have actual toe blocks or a matching set of toe blocks. I have a Yokomo plastic one up front, and then the actual GALM one in the rear, which don't match, by the way.
Ooh, don't look closely at my chassis. There's a few of that.
There's so much going on in your pictures, though. Like, although this is my favorite. It's so like, for being an open deck chassis, like it seems so much more packed than what it is. And then the DDSS will be up front. Oh, I need to match those screws on the spur gear.
Yeah.
Oh, check this out, because it's a Hobbywing XR10 stock spec. So it does have the boost, it does have the turbo, except it can't. It like fits the small little tiny. It's not even a 25 millimeter fan. I think it's like a.
It's 20. A 20.
Yeah. So
it's
like
terrible.
tiny little guys, and like they had a problem where their propellers would actually come out of the shroud, and it would just like fly somewhere.
Had it happen a few times.
So if it's in a race buggy, these are absolutely horrible in race buggies, because
yep.
Hopefully it's like still somewhere underneath the buggy body.
But you just do that upgrade. You just put the 25 or 30 on there and you're okay.
But the way that I did it is it's actually coming from the battery mount, like
I can see
from
that
the
you have
top.
like one standoff just coming down.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm
Nice.
using a what's the brand name? It's not much more 1UP. It might be 1UP, but their fan mount that goes around the motor, and it's coming right through the middle of my battery mount up in front.
I believe that's 1UP then.
Yep.
'Cause they have that weird fan mount.
Do I need the center transmission brace, or are you gonna go with the fan mount? Huh? What? No, I everything is here. Everything is there. Like,
No brace. No brace needed.
yeah, no brace because. Oh, is that what it is? Is that what you're? So the Yogi wasn't meant to have a center top brace. It was meant to have these side braces, just like the S, like the Yokomo S chassis.
So it's
back in the
super
day.
stiff.
It's not actually all that stiff. It has a lot of flex for the battery deck.
Well, yeah, it's stiff for the front where you want the stiffness.
Yes.
You want your flex in the rear, obviously. You don't want your steering to flex too much. A little bit of give is okay.
No, I don't need it because the way that I did it is completely abstract to how it should have gone. Technically, my favorite thing is not by doing things by the book. So the fan mount would go like back here, right? It would shoot up, and then you're supposed to use the fan mount and use the two channels here to be able to mount the battery tray. Instead, I'm actually using the front of the waterfall coming up and using a RevD. So the RevD rear uprights, the little arm attachments, the vertical attachments, as little adapter plates. And then that I'm adapting to the battery tray.
There you go.
It's not straightforward, but it is mounted and it's not going anywhere.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Here's a better picture of it from the top. I think it is a little bit far forward. I can move it a little bit back a few millimeters, but I don't know. We'll find out. It's a spare parts car, technically. So. Okay, and last one in Roast My Rig before we jump to other stuff, which we're not doing a lot of roasting. Logan, is there something wrong?
I mean, there's not much to roast.
Here, you can roast Austin's new Travis.
You've got the single mount in front. It's the new trend.
The
single magnet mount.
Logan was doing that.
That was my first car. Was like that. Yeah.
That's a good move, honestly.
It worked out pretty well for me. I mean, I have dual now just because the MD2 kind of comes with it, but it worked out well. It was a lot cleaner than I don't like having my body posts mounted to like the front bumper because it just adds a whole lot of extra material that is not necessary.
What if there was no front bumper?
Exactly.
Ba-boom.
Is going on here? Oh, those are just the wrap-up mounts. Oh, it seemed like Judd was kind of like surprised at how much a Travis 2 would sell for. Yeah, if they're completely built out with all wrap-up stuff, these things are not cheap. Like the rear arm set alone is like $200.
And a lot of that stuff's pretty hard to find, right?
And a lot of it's pretty hard to find. Yep.
Looks like there's Yokomos on the rear and then RevD arms.
Yep. So definitely not fitting that, like, the rareness of all wrap up.
Look at that preload in the front. Am I right?
Reload for days.
I bet you those are the stock MD1 springs.
They do look short.
No, they're not short. They're just soft.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a set of big bores that some guy came in the other day and he was trying to get them all set up, or his SD 1.0, whatever, the LTS, and we're trying to get that thing all set up, and I had to give him a lot of preload, and he was like, "It's not rebounding." I'm like, "Well, you're gonna have to do a lot of rebound or do a little bit more shock maintenance because that's what you'll have to do for now."
Drill in 10 holes.
End of the Orioli E36. I'm trying to fix. Set out post. Oh, okay. So not necessarily roast. Jose, if you're trying to wrap your radio like this, talk to Chris because he's already done it, I believe. Momo. I don't like radio wraps.
But it looks clean.
It looks clean, but they add so much more bulk.
I don't like them either still.
And at the same time, though, I don't like the rubber piece of my 7PX like casually like getting warped, so it's like falling off all the time either.
Oh, weird.
Oh, you call it a rubber piece?
Well, I don't know what else to call it. Like
Not
the
a-
grip.
Not a silicone cover or a condom?
No. So I mean, I do have that too, but like just specifically the hand grip part, right?
Oh, the hand grip part, yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
stock. It's like rubbery. I like the way that feels. I don't ever have a desire to wrap my grip or anything.
Well, I like the way that it is too. It's just mine
Yours
mine
is,
falls off like
yeah,
because of
dysfunctional.
age. Well, no, it's just age. It's getting older.
Rubber ages.
Yeah. Okay. So that is that. Hey, Mark, I'm going to let you decide where we go now. After I expose all of my Chrome tabs here. um,
Oh.
So let me undo this.
That's not that much. That's one of my Google Chromes that are open.
Oh no, I don't have a lot. It's just
Oh.
It's my shared screen right now. So let's go through your kind of arsenal. I had you post in the general chat here. Let's go through kind of your chassis and what you can tell us about them.
Okay. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Starting off with the hearse.
Yep, starting off with a Hearst.
So yeah, the hearse is it was all custom. I had to squeeze it in because it's 170 millimeters wide. It's 200 and I want to say 264 millimeters long, or 268. So it is stretched a little bit and squeezed in. So underneath though is a MST front end from the RMX, and the rear is a crawler chassis.
Which crawler?
So I used to own a company called Clapped Out Gang.
Okay.
We made custom crawlers, and these were just some of our leftover prototypes. So most of them, I think I have like another 20 sets actually. So I kind of just make them work. They aren't really the right fit. If I was to redesign it, I could redesign it much better now, especially for a shorter wheelbase. But the axle is from a ECX crawler. It's the 18th scale barrage, so that's been discontinued for a while. But we were making these into lowriders probably 7 or 8 years ago because they were selling for $900. It's like, yeah, the parts aren't hard to get. It's just the work you have to put in.
You also have it belt driven from motor to spur gear there.
Yep, it was pretty easy to make it belt driven since it's using an axial transmission.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like, you could go on Amazon. I think it's like $12 for the belt conversion for the axial transmission.
But be warned, it's not the greatest of quality.
Oh no, it works though.
It does work.
Yep.
then we have these. Let me. Hopefully, this one's a little bit better. Not too much.
Oh, the
Your cross wheels.
Oh yeah, so those are spinners too. There's bearings
Nice.
on the inside, so they actually do spin.
Nice.
What mechanism are you using? Like, is it just on a bearing, or is it?
Yeah, that's a bearing, and then there's a 3D printed spacer in between that and the MSP wheel behind it.
Is it an adapted extension of the thread, or is it just that far out?
It's just that far out because it's the crawler axle.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So normally this crawler has like a 15 mm extension just so you could put normal wheels on it. I didn't put the extension on, so I had almost 25 mm of actual axle sticking out.
Mhm.
So yeah, this worked perfect for it. Covered up the difference, you can't even tell. And you can kind of see in this picture there's brass weights in the rear as well.
I don't know what picture you're looking at.
The one, oh yeah, you can still see it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
The little gold patty.
Oh, the wheel weights.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is funny. The hacked front end of of an RMX.
Yep. Gotta hack some things up sometimes.
That's a fact.
That hurts me. I'm just kidding.
Plastic fantastic. Oh,
Yeah, this shouldn't hurt you, DJ. Like, you run carbon now. What are you talking about?
I got an RMX transmission just chilling here on a carbon fiber plate.
Oh, Phil would be proud of you. Okay, keeping on going here. Moving on.
But the nice thing about the solid rear axles is you could tune your suspension very, very easily. So you could work on squat or anti-squat if you want anti-dive. Everything works for it.
Mm-hmm. Without going into like the whole insanity of RER multi-link setup.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead, all you do is, hey, this link just needs to be a little bit higher. Cool. Now I have no squat. So there's my anti-squat.
So you are a wheel breaker, sir.
I guess so. Yeah. The Rhino Max goes hard. I've had it happen twice now on the rear where the wheel just came off, and they're both Rev D wheels.
I think it's the Rev D wheel.
I'm staying away from Rev D wheels now, just because of that.
Yeah, because Jake is a breaker of wheels too, and most of them have been Rev D wheels as well. Like, there's no real rhyme or reason by it, but man, it's like he's not even doing anything like really specific either, other than like a few times he was driving outside on the asphalt, but nothing really horrible. So, Rhino Max V1.
Yes,
Where it all started.
it's my favorite.
What is this? Oh, that's just a motor. It's a purple motor.
Yep, it's a Trinity D3.5.
They had all purple cans?
It's purple and black, and then it's got a, I want to say it was a D4 heatsink.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm seeing.
Yep, you can see the 3 on the side for 3 racing.
Right. No, I've had one of these. I don't remember who has it now, but I threw in some D35s and D4 motors, 17.5 motors in, and they did really, really well. Like,
Yeah,
did
they're
really
great.
well.
Very, very smooth. They still have all that torque too.
That's a Loki figurine. Or is it? It's Loki, yeah?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know their names, but now that you said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's his name.
So, here with the Kirby fan trad, you guys.
The OG Kirby fan trad.
And this is your FD module, yeah?
Yeah, so that's a version 1 even. So it's been in the car for a while.
I like the little baby fan on the ESC. Is that 20 millimeter?
No,
Yeah, it is.
so that ESC, no, it's XR10 Pro, so it's not a stock ESC. So it's got a 25 millimeter.
Are you sure? Because I think they're still like itty bitty in
It's
comparison.
It's not as big as the Pro Tech, but it's still 25. Because yeah, I got Kirby's actually made for them too. And all I had to do was dumb it down 5 millimeters. Yeah, I recently got the motor to fit. This is the Rhino Max 2. It's easy to fit motors all day. That one, you can't fit a fake motor in there. And I got one to fit, and I was so happy. It's like, yay, one finally fits. It looks good. So here's another custom build.
Yeah, this needs to be explained to me. I don't
Yeah, my
understand
brain
this.
hurts. My brain hurts.
There's a
The
lot
suspension
to
looks like it's
explain.
hovering.
So
TJ.
I guess we could start from the bottom up. It's got Yokomo lowers, obviously. Rev D axles or knuckles. And then it's got the kamikaze attachments for the McPherson setup.
I just want to point out that he has the active toe block, the active toe block for his front suspension.
Yep.
Like not being used for anything, but
Just because I had it laying around. I was like, oh, the 3 fits. Okay. Oh, I have to use this one. Okay, boom. That's what. See, I was saying, don't point it out.
Oh, we're gonna point out so many things.
I got the toe blocks all around that are weird.
That's fine.
And then yeah, it's a front motor. Obviously, it's got a 17.5 agile. So this is completely using the whole crawler chassis too. So the front and the rear setup of it. There is a Rev D bell crank in there.
Yes, there is.
It's modified, so if you notice, my points are really, really high. I don't know if you could see it on this picture, but
Oh, yeah. You have extensions.
yep, and they're extended up almost 10 millimeters. And those are, I think, the D-like extensions.
But you had to do something to be able to get up to where the McPherson strad was.
Yeah, otherwise my Ackerman was completely off anytime I tried making the setup. I added those, and 2 weeks of frustration went away, and I was like, I can't believe that. That's all it took.
Now, what's crazy is the whole transmission setup here.
Yeah, so you see pinion to pinion. Then that is connected to another pinion, which goes to a trackless spur gear, which goes to the rear drive shaft.
Is it completely tight, or are you actually using some slipping action there?
No, it's normal gear mesh. I shredded one gear because I had it a little too tight, and then I had to redesign it, come back, and boom, came back with it.
No, the slipper, not the.
Oh, slipper? No, that's it's locked. It's basically completely locked. You can see how tight it is. The spring should have a little bit of room, but no, it's fully locked for drift cars.
Gotcha.
There's no reason for the slipper clutch because it would kick in so much on, especially like scale science surface where there's no traction. It would just constantly kick in. Yep, and then those two, a Monte Carlo. So from Red Cat, the Monte Carlo axle.
Okay.
It's with wheels on it. It's a I think 195 wheelbase in the rear.
Oh,
It's
that's
the
fine.
perfect axle. Yeah.
That's fine.
So what does that drive like?
It's slow. It drives like an FXX. It's got so much weight in the front, so it's kind of slow, and it does a lot of crab walking. But I had a 10.5 in here, and the 10.5 definitely had a little bit more speed, but still is slow compared to most cars.
So Lance is saying that this is an FXX with 20 extra steps.
Yeah, but
Which
my gears aren't going to shred. So I did
yeah,
right.
like there's no reduction case like that.
No,
And
yeah, even the pinion to pinion on the top, it's the same size pinion. So yeah, there is no gear reduction. It would be just like if I did my pinion straight to the spur gear.
Yeah. I think it feels more simple. Like just from the mechanical standpoint, it's more simple than the FXX did.
Oh yeah, much.
There's not as much going on there.
Yeah, your failure point is right there in front of the motor, and it's easy to grab. Whereas the FXX, you have to take half the car apart just to get that one gear out.
Yep. Now we got something different. It's a D5.
Ooh, let's see.
D5.
Oh yeah.
A steering wheel setup.
No, this was my first FPV setup.
Okay.
So I've had a few FPV cars now, and this was the first one that I designed up. It's using CraftHub.io's interior setup. So he has a high battery on there. The what do you call it? The tub, the dashboard. Yeah.
Clear some tabs. There we go. Yeah.
Woo.
Are you using any sort of specific like pan and tilt in this, like for head tracking, or is it just do it at your own will?
So I was using Fat Sharks on these since it
Okay.
was so old. It was analog. They were the Altitude V3s. It was like the first Fat Sharks with head tracking in it.
Yeah, I
So
have
it
the
had,
same ones.
yeah, they were terrible, but it had head tracking, so that was the best part. And yeah, that was using that for that. So Futaba for the steering and everything, and then that's piggybacking to a Spectrum receiver.
For the head tracking.
Yep, and all the extra lights and everything, and the handbrake because the handbrake does work. I can't remember if this one. I can't remember if I did the pedals working on this one, but I had the pedals working on one of these rigs.
So are you just doing like a Y splitter from the original ESC sensor or signal cable, and then going into it?
No, so I'm taking the battery spot on the Futaba and just taking a wire over to the battery spot on the Spectrum, and it's got power. It piggybacks power.
So that's power, but what about the signal for like the extra servo?
Oh yeah. So for like the steering and the handbrake, yeah, it's all Y cabled.
Okay.
That's why there's a spaghetti of cables. There's I think 5 Y cables in there.
And you're using the Futaba like 6-channel receiver in here.
Yes, it's my preferred choice. I got a ton of them. These guys.
Preferred choice. That's interesting that you say that.
I don't
notice
telemetry.
Well, but not just telemetry, but like speed of receiver, right?
It's running about 5 milliseconds response time instead of 3, so it's not noticeable to me.
Okay. Gotcha. And actually, do you have this with all 6 channels being able to like function with the 7px or 10px?
Nope. You can only still use 4. I don't get why it's a 10-channel radio, but you can only use 4.
Okay, there you go, folks. That's been a question that's been burning for who knows how long.
But the only way you could actually use all 10 channels is S-Bus connection, and it's not easy. There's not a tutorial or a guide on how to set it all up. Futaba doesn't even mention how to do it really in their manual. They just say it is available.
Right.
I love Futaba, but that's the worst part. Spectrum, they made it easy for a lot of the crawler stuff, uh, like doing 4-wheel steering or winch controlling. Futaba, it was kind of a headache, but now that I've used them for a few years, they're pretty simple.
Well, isn't that funny? Because like now with Radio Master and their TX12, like all of that is so, like, I mean, it's open source, right? Open source for a reason. So Lua scripts and all of that will be able to be run from that radio, or
Yep.
just be done. Like all of that, you can program a momentary switch. You can program a 3-position switch. You can program all of that just from the radio without worrying about it.
And their S-Bus is a lot easier to use. They have a guide on how to use their S-Bus, so you could add another 16 channels. So you have 32 channels available.
And is that readily available with the ELRS or any of their?
Not right now, not that I think of. I think with the MT12, it's a 5-channel available.
Right.
And then when you plug in the S-Bus, you have up to 21 channels, really, but 32 channels is coming soon.
Jeez.
The options are pretty crazy, because, I mean, if you're controlling lights, if you think of a semi especially.
Yes, right.
A semi
Okay.
truck, you could run so many different things. Your horn, your turn signals, all that stuff. It all can be controlled just by a different channel.
Logan, DJ, have you seen those semis?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
love them.
Like
Yeah,
the
they're
ones
pretty
that you
cool.
can shift.
yeah.
No, they're insane. I can't wait to go this year.
And they shake. They have a shaking.
They're not cheap
Yeah,
either.
No.
They're overdose golems look cheap compared to them.
I'm looking at 2 chassis stacked right now. Is that what
Yep.
I'm looking at?
Yep.
Okay.
This is where I was at. I was like, I got so many freaking builds with that. They were all just stacking up like that at a point.
Okay, so on top, we've got a YD2S front
Yep.
half.
Yep.
And I see axial, but that doesn't mean jack, like in this scenario here. What's the rear half?
I mean, the only thing axial is the
link.
drive shaft and the links, yeah, and the 2 top links, and then it's going to a Monte Carlo rear axle.
Okay.
And then I 3D printed the transfer case. And a lot of people don't think the shock setup would work being on an angle because you do lose efficiency.
Mhm.
But because of these cars are so light, it actually works perfect for them.
It seems that like, so obviously like solid rear axle is kind of a theme for you.
Yeah, I love
Can
them.
you talk about like why that is and like what you like about it as far as driving?
So the main big thing was the tuning aspect. It's much easier to tune on the fly, just by extending the link or raising it. Changing your geometry does everything for it. And since these are all rear wheel drive, we're getting all our traction in the rear, so that's causing a lot of the squats or the dives. So you could cancel that out to your driving style. And the other thing is, I run mostly locked diffs in these. You can get gear differentials for them, but I do run the spool. It's just my preference to run locked diffs. Both my RDXs, they're both locked still, and I like them like that over having a CLSD.
Do you find that Monte Carlo axle just works the best out of? Have you tried more than that, or is that just the one that fits the best? Or
I have like 30 axles.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's skinny and still available. The ECX Barrage one was the other one before, but parts are just so hard. I think I have like 8 or 9 of them that are waiting on one input gear to come back from discontinued, but fingers crossed.
That sounds like the Yokomo DP diffs. like before Wrap Up started like making their own.
Oh. Oh,
It was like gold if you found them.
I got a bag full of them.
Oh geez. Do you have the gear diff?
No. And honestly, I have all those, and I still use the Wrap Up Next diff.
For those of you who don't know, the Wrap Up Next diff, like the heavy duty version of it, is significantly heavier too.
Yep.
It's sick. Like that's what's in my high CG mini, and they're basically bulletproof as long as you have either a closed diff case or you make sure that everywhere is clean.
As they keep your diff case closed on that one.
I'm running the open Wrap Up Next one, so.
Oh, I wish you luck.
It's fine. It's fine. What is this? It's really wide. What do we got here? It's an RDX with a conversion.
It looks really wide.
That's Shredcraft, right?
Yeah. So Shredcraft's our local guy. He's in the real car drift scene too. He does a lot of graphics and everything for those guys, as well as vinyl work, I believe. He's been making his own chassis, so I've been a big supporter of his. I got 3 of his chassis now, 2 of his YD2 ones, and then the RDX. So this was a test run, and it's called the Manta, and set up pretty freaking nice in my opinion. Just so, I mean, we like the scale factor, so you could put your seats in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's even room to put back seats. But the RDX mount in the front is perfect for mounting a dashboard. So he set it up pretty simply just to be able to run, a scale look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I've followed his videos kind of since I got into RC drifting, so it's cool to see.
Oh, this about that. Since I was kind of doing my spare parts car build today, I finally got around to building the stock RDX shocks. And hands down, the stock RDX shocks are the best plastic shock.
They're so loose, though. There's so much play, but I think that's why they're so great.
I mean, the O-ring is doing its job, right?
It definitely is.
But yeah, like, no quarrels, no complaints. They don't stick. They were built and designed right. So whatever design time that they had to, like, hold back on for the RDX, it was well worth the wait.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was expecting Axon shocks to come with the kit, and then when they said they had their own, I was like, okay, let's do it. Rev D's been putting out good stuff. You can't go wrong.
If someone did a bundled kit with Axon shocks, I'd be in. That or, well, Super G did a bundle deal with the Wrap Up SG2 shocks.
I'd say it was the SG2s.
Mm-hmm. I think those would be worth trying. I haven't tried those yet.
They're a little pricey, in my opinion. That's all.
Well, in what range? Because there's Overdose HT3s, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, and HT3s are 160 from RC Mart, and they do qualify for the Smart Shipper Super Shipper savings, so it's only like $5 shipping, as long as you're okay with the weight, which is fine. But what do we got here? We have your third person view.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it before, but it's the third person view. So we put it on the TV at Scale Science on the big screen, and we're off in the pits driving it. And so many people are like, "Oh no, that looks too scary to drive," And I give them the remote. They start driving it, and they're like, "It's just like playing Need for Speed or any video game." Like that was the whole point.
That's awesome.
And
Now,
it's an RDX completely stock underneath, so it drives pretty decent.
Is it turned down, like as far as power goes, just so that it's not like unwildly?
No. No, not at all.
So next step then is getting like a Logitech or your Thrustmaster as
Yep.
controls.
I have that in mind. I've been asking people to donate one so I don't have to go buy one, but it's looking like Facebook Marketplace, for one of the $30 to $50 ones
Yeah.
is the choice.
I have a thought for the third person stuff is like, so this setup is it's like a fixed camera, so the camera in the car, the perspective is always the same. You could do something with like a boom coming off the back that's on a servo, so the boom kind of stays behind the car and you see the car actually slide sideways. That would be cool.
That would be actually pretty smart.
So you're talking about Drift Cam 2 in Car X.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You gotta make it a reality.
There you go. Cool.
What kind of a VTX are you using for this?
So this is now into my new phase of FPV. Everything's digital. I use walk snail. I don't use DJI. So you basically have two, DJI or walk snail. Those are your two choices for digital at this moment.
Which Walk Snail's the product type or product name. Is that the brand name of it too?
Oh, Caddx is their
Caddx.
parent company.
There you go.
Yeah, so Caddx, but Caddx also makes the Nebula, which is for DJI. It's an aftermarket DJI digital system that works with your DJI goggles. I have walk snail goggles. That's what I use with my flying. So it kind of just worked out perfect. And in my opinion, it makes a huge difference with the digital system. You could actually see clearly, so you're not crashing into things. It makes the driving experience more memorable too.
For everyone's information, this car is still apparently legal for competition.
What is it?
At least for weight wise.
Oh yeah, I was like, it's too tall, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's that, but
yeah, I mean, like I said, it is a stock RDX. The only thing added is a fan and the Kirby on the back, and then the walk snail system. And since they're not in drones, we have to add fan systems to them. So there's a fan under them.
Lance, if you want to try it, I have my entire, literally, I have the head tracking set up for it and the goggles for it and the receiver if you want to try it. So
it's fun.
Let me know.
It's a learning curve, but once you get, maybe like 40 laps around, you start getting the feel of it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is. I don't want to go back to transmitter.
It was the head tracking, and I had it in first person view. It just wasn't a good time for me. Not to mention that this was like 4 or 5 years ago at a hot import night, so it was more of a gimmick than anything else. Like I wasn't trying to be serious with it.
No,
It was fun, but
this one worked perfect, and like I said, I give it to someone who's new into driving that finds it cool just because they see it on the TV and they start driving it and pick up on it right away. Just because the RDX is such an easy chassis to drive to.
Mm-hmm. That is debatable though, because I've it's kind of weird. No two RDXs drive the same just because they were built slightly different. But yeah. Some of them can be like nice and docile, and then others can be abstractly like agitated all the time.
Oh, this one's definitely of the docile type. It doesn't go as fast as it should, even with the 10.5 in there and the stock gearing.
Okay, so moving on to your...
Hold on, we passed one that's pretty crazy. Right above the Shredcraft RDX, there's like a dually looking one.
Oh, the dually's my pride and joy. That's my pride and joy.
Hold on. Above the Shredcraft.
Yeah.
It's one of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
That one looks pretty cool.
It's a... Is it a FedEx truck?
No, he's got his F450.
Oh, so there's the inside of it. Oh.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're looking at.
Nice.
So continuing with your 3D printed transmission case here.
Yes, so another 3D printed transmission case, solid rear axle. It's my first one I did with a Monte Carlo axle, and I found out it worked perfect. Glued the tires together. They're just stock D5 wheels. I didn't glue the tires, the wheels. And you can see there's a BS Dual 9.5 in there.
Yep.
No, Is it yeah, it's a
9.5.
PS tool. Yep. And then it's got one of my old Hobby Wing ESCs.
I remember these.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's I believe the Zayrun 2.1. So it's basically what the XR10 replaced.
Mhm.
So it still has turbo. It has boost. I believe it's 100 amps or 80 amps. It's
think it's
decent for what
80.
it is. Yeah.
Mitch, if you're listening in, this is what you have.
And then yeah, I had to make some custom links to make it a little stiffer.
Yeah.
I like stiff chassis. It's just easier for me to tune than the flexibility chassis. So, and then yeah, it's just a YD2 in the front, all plastic.
That's awesome.
Now with having the dually, do you think that you actually gain more traction since there's more tires back there?
Yes, definitely. And in that picture, you could see I think those are the T drifts on there.
They look like it.
Yeah, those are the T drifts. So I had to
Oh.
have the T drifts on. It was the only tires I could have traction with at Scale Science when I had the trailer on the back. Because I do have the trailer that
Yeah.
lowers and lifts, so people were driving on my trailer while we were drifting.
What's the game called? Sky Hunter, I think is what it is.
Yeah, from
Or Spy Hunter.
is it Spy Hunter? Yeah, from Nintendo.
Yeah, where you load in and out of the
The lanes.
semi-truck.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. And then we'd go a lap. You know, I'd have enough traction to go slow with someone on the back, and then drop them off.
That'd be
That's
cool.
not cool,
That'd be an epic thing to have at Expo.
honestly.
And then we put the camera on the trailer too, so you could see the car fly up onto it.
Dang, we need to fly you out.
Yeah, this truck though is by far my favorite trucks or favorite car in general to drive. Besides the Rhino Maxes, it is custom though, obviously, so it's not something that everyone has.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys know JTP, Justin Pollock. He came down here for Grid Life last year or the year before. Yeah, last year. And he drove it the whole time he drove it. He had a smile from ear to ear, just like, why isn't this a thing?
It's
An
awesome.
F450 with S bodies, you know, just getting doors.
I mean, that's a topic in itself, right? Like, we were talking about it with the whole solid axle thing and the whole rule, which, yeah, the whole idea behind it is the fact that solid axles just don't exist because, or at least in the competition world, because it was based off of a touring car chassis. Like, those rules. That's
Which-
all it is.
That big rule, in my opinion, was put there to push away pan cars, which we're now seeing like the LP86 from D-Like.
Yep.
We are seeing those in drift. Obviously, that car is not allowed in competition. Well, Super G rules, at least. I
And you
don't know
also-
if RCDC is allowing it or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do allow it.
Right. I don't know, because RCDC seems like it's the more strict of the two.
But
Like,
they
in
are a
terms of
Japanese
rules.
company, right? D-Like?
Yeah.
So they
The
like
overdose.
to push. They like to push Japanese companies, and that was the big thing why they started RCDC and their strict rules.
So let me ask you this, because in this picture we have a Fantasy,
Yep.
Fantasy 2. Do you find that there's any actual advantage of like the live pod suspension over what just other chassis are now?
Comparing it to the YD2s, like
So-
it was going with SX3s for the most part. You know, everyone their high-end chassis was the SX3. This had more traction easily.
So, but let's skip a generation then. So Sharks, MD1s, like
No.
this generation.
No, the Shark, in my opinion, had better feel than the Fantasy. The Fantasy's still kind of like the, you know, you got to drive a Ferrari kind of thing.
Gotcha. And it's tight on space too. Jeez.
I like the
Yeah.
Omega fan shroud on the car next to it.
Yeah, the big 50 millimeters.
Oh, hold on. This is what this is epic. You said that it fits in a cup of noodles, right?
Yes. Yep.
And you have a cup of noodle car.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. What is this thing up here? It's 210, I'd imagine, is the wheelbase.
Oh, the little guy. That's you guys were talking about it 2 weeks ago with Ron.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's a K1 Espresso.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they only had a few bodies for it, but they were way ahead of their time. Like he was saying, way ahead of their time. Their belt-driven system, how they had their motor mounts, they had direct drive steering before anyone else. Actually, let me pull that out. You can kind of see it, but this is their steering mount.
Hold on. Let me figure out how to do this.
How to make me bigger?
Yeah. I had it done and ready to go at one point in time. Hot cam, window capture. Why?
It's EDF, basically, Brian.
Oh,
Did it work?
no. I messed with my with the thing, which is unfortunate. Hold on. Is it this? Okay, hold tight.
Oh,
I
there we
can
go.
make this work. I can make you big. One way or another. Okay.
Boom. Okay, let me get a servo. Hey, it comes in the other way. I haven't done this in so long. This thing's annoying. Just to get the wires right, but yeah, you put the servo in like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was direct drive, and there's the top side, front.
Now, since direct drive, the horn would have been the.
They used a similar horn. I don't know if I have one. I don't have one laying around, but it was a similar horn to the direct drive that we see now.
Okay. So like Yusakani style and the shark style.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Not the same as the Rhino Max, since the Rhino Max has a big old plate on it, but this one was a lot slimmer, obviously, since it didn't have the room to have a bigger plate or anything else in there.
Okay. Best thing.
I think that chassis came out in like 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
It's just zoomed in. You get to see my fancy blanket.
Oh, okay. That's why. Yeah. Undo the transformation. Yes, he can.
The magic of computers.
Center. Oh.
I'll be right back.
There we go.
Every other car looks big compared to it, like extra long.
Right?
I'm like, that's just a stock RDX. Why does it look so long?
It's because of the bumper. It's the knuckle bumper.
Yeah, that too.
When did you first start doing the Kirby fan shrouds?
Ooh. This is 2020 or 2021?
Okay.
It was right about when COVID started. And I was honestly, it was one of my like 10th ideas of making shrouds, because I was making shrouds before that for drift, and seats and everything else, little stuff.
So let's see. You have a trike, a Yusakani trike,
Hmm.
the D3, I think it is.
Yep.
You have the BND chassis.
Well, if you notice, I had 2 BNDs because they don't come with the multicolor. So I had a purple and I had an orange, and I swapped all the parts, sold the orange-based one, and then ended up selling the purple-based one too.
Then we have a GRK.
Which it's the MC2.
MC2.
Jake now has that.
No, he doesn't.
Jake
Alex has it.
Jake doesn't have it anymore. Jake had it.
Yeah, Alex has it now.
Yeah.
And he actually competed with it down at Super G.
Oh, nice.
So
I mean, it's a buttery smooth car.
I think
and
that's why he likes it.
With the bell crank, it's probably even better.
Yes, they transitioned over to the Rev D bell crank. They did, not Rev D.
Yeah. Yep.
D5, YD2S, RMX. Hey DJ.
Yeah. The D5 though, that is Gen 1, like the first shipment that came in,
Mm-hmm.
and day 2 of getting it or having it, I flipped to trans. I made it MR instead of RR.
Yep.
So I had an MR D5 2 years before it came out.
From day one.
Yep. Basically. And it was a great car. It drove better in my opinion, so I drove it a lot more.
Then we got RMX. Then SX3 with a fantasy front end. With a chassis conversion. I don't know which conversion that is.
I don't remember which deck it is, but
Is it the Street Fighter? I know that
it's-
those were narrow.
it was no, it was a Team S deck.
What is this thing over here? I think we saw it on picture. No, this is the ARM. It's an RMX front end.
Yeah, so this is we saw this. This was the hearse.
Okay.
What the hearse turned into.
SX3 with the EDF.
I like that, the EDF on there. I do have a small EDF that I could put on there.
Could you imagine the temps? Well, I don't know.
Well, I was thinking about using it for an aero car because I know I've seen the guys that have the aero cars that stick to the surface
That would
more.
be cool. That would be cool.
I have a crawler that has an EDF on it. Well, a bigger EDF than that, and everyone's like, "Why do you have an EDF?" And I'm like, "Turn it on, and it's sticking to the wall straight up." And they're like, "What? What?
It's like, check out my ground effects, man.
It's cheating." It's like, yeah, it's in the rules though.
Okay, so Fantasy 2, Shark.
Yep. That's a Shardacy.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah, that's where I conned the term Shardacy, and it has the nerd dampers. It was too much. Way too much. Literally a show-off car, and it drove okay, but wasn't my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. Then a D5, Rhinomax V2.
Yep.
An RDS. What are your thoughts about the RDS?
It's my go-to outdoor chassis.
It doesn't look very outdoorsy right now.
Oh no, that was early. if I brought it out now, you'd be like, wow, the bottom's all scratched up. There's a few chunks in it.
But you're running the stock body, yeah? Because those are
Yeah.
the body mounts for it.
Yeah, I added some 350Z stickers, the headlight stickers that I had laying around. Put some Nissan logos on it, and I call it the 420Z. It's just a stoned version of a Z.
Okay, so
Pretty funny.
to get this car to drive right, what do you feel like you need to do to it? before
I'm
it
dri-
works?
I'm driving mine stock out of the box.
Completely stock. Okay.
Yeah, I switched out the electronics as you could see, but how they had it RTR, when you go outside, it drives how it should, I think. How I imagined the RMXs were originally gonna drive, like they said, outside, but you still needed to tune those.
Yeah.
So I take the RDS to all of the car shows we do, and It's the show off car, honestly. That, and I have a D5 that has all the backfire kits and the sound. So that's the other show off car.
Right on. Then we got another SX3.
Yep.
I don't know what's on the far end.
Yeah, that one. I don't have it anymore, sadly, but I got that from Chris the Establishment. He got it from Shill and Goo.
Oh, this is what it was? Okay.
So it's one of Shill and Goo's custom prototypes, and it drove so amazing. I just had too many chassis and didn't want to put more money into it.
Gotcha.
You think you have too many chassis?
Yeah, if you notice, it's hard to keep electronics in all of them,
Yeah, of course.
but a good amount of them have electronics.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought there was a guy that we had that had a lot of chassis, but that's a lot of chassis.
Wait, who are you thinking of?
Well, there's multiple people I could be thinking of, Judd and or Ben.
Ben doesn't have. Ben has what, like 5 D5s? I think.
Yeah, they're all this. I mean, it's just chassis, a number of chassis, but they're all the same. But this is like
Ben's got something wrong with him. If
He has an RDX. He has an RDX now.
oh yeah,
It's just he drives
Yeah.
his D5s.
It's only a problem.
some are
only a-
stock.
Yeah, only a problem when you have D4s, like 20 D4s, and it's like, why? Why do you still have those?
I
You
had
have 3 or 4 of them, but come on.
I had a D4 with the oxygen conversion.
And you got rid of it?
Yeah, I got rid. Yeah.
So many people after stuff like that now.
Well, because back then it was just like, oh, there's so much to fix on it, and then it was fine. Honestly, it was too fast. Like the car was too fast for the group that I was running with, so I never ran it.
Well, back then, too, cars were a lot slower.
I know, which is also really upsetting too. Because it's
Yeah.
like, I look at how fast we are now, and that's like, we weren't even close with running MST yellow dot tires on carpet. Like, yeah, we're talking really slow stuff going on.
But that's how we were able to get walls, like the whole wall with our ass, and just go along the whole thing. And everyone would stay in a group. It was easier to follow. Now things are a little bit different, especially you could see it at Scale Science, where the groups break apart. Because you got some are faster, some are slower, and the slow ones want to keep up with the fast ones, but one mistake and boom, they're getting bumped out of the train.
That's how I feel about Car X all the time. Except
Car-
I'm running into the wall already.
RX is nice though, because if you get bumped out, it's like, okay, there's no one else's money getting smashed into it, you know, and that's where people complain, you know, I spent so much on this body. Well, why were you riding my ass? Stuff like that. Like as the chase driver, you should be following the lead and expecting them to make a mistake.
I'm not hating on the D4 part.
I know. I like my D4.
Truly a drift pastime. Everyone
Don't have
enjoy.
20 of them. That's
No.
it.
No, so the funny thing is that one of our guys, his buddy gave him a D3 that he found in his closet, and in my response, I was like,
Pull it up.
don't ever think about converting that.
There's my D3, and the transmission's still good. So that's what I took out of it to convert.
And like, don't get me wrong, the D3 you can easily convert into a rear-wheel drive car, but there are so many other chassis that you can get that are going to be more cost efficient to try to get it running right.
Oh, easily.
Right? Like, go buy a D5. It's going to be an easier solution than converting a D3.
Yeah.
So what is this?
So this was one of the build-offs for Scale Science Matsuris.
Okay. Was there a theme?
I don't remember.
Okay.
There had to been a theme because there's always a theme, but I can't. Oh, it was convertibles.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was open tops, no T-tops allowed. It had to be full open. Yeah, so
You
I
even
did a,
have the Yokomo pit bag,
yes.
just chilling.
There's a few
Wait, what?
customers that have gotten these. If I make a big mistake, I send that to them as my way of saying, sorry, I fucked up.
That's sick.
And here, let's see. Do I have one here? So I don't have the sticker on it, but it opens. The drawers actually come out.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
So you
Hold
can
on.
actually,
Is this something
yeah.
that you make? Is this
Yeah.
just a 3D printed thing?
yeah, it's just 3D printed.
That's sick though.
But you can use it for like holding screws or nuts, and it's got a little scale factor if you want to throw it in your car or your garage.
That's awesome.
How long does it take you to like complete an interior?
It depends. It's honestly not that long, especially with a 3D printer. I have dozens of seats laying around, so I have that ready to go. Printing the dashboard, I have a few of those S13 dashes already printed, and I had the center console already from a crawler. I think it was from I think it was a Jeep. Honestly, I think I ripped it out of a Jeep, just because I couldn't fit my transmission there either. So I had to cut that part out, and I was like, that'll be good in another car. 5-6 years later, hey, look, it's in a drifter.
Moving on, we've got a trailer with an Instago 360 camera mount in the truck trailer or truck.
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, this is the dually.
Okay.
That was the day, we had all the cameras on it and everyone trying to get on while we were drifting. A lot of
That's
fun.
not a lot of space. Like, was there a straight that you were trying to get up on?
Oh yeah, there were 2 straights with the setup, and that was the time I'd slow down and let them come up and fly up on it. And as soon as like the straight would end, I'd have to be doing a 180, and it'd be like, oh, this is a bitch. There's an extra car on me.
Oh, hey, so you guys got Tatsujin curbs.
Yep.
Is it worth the investment?
I think Jordan got those from Rob Nick. I think Rob Nick donated those.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't know if it's worth the investment, because I know when I was quoted for it, the shipping cost was like $3,000.
Oh, jeez.
What?
It was like, because they weigh a lot. And
Yeah.
we were trying to order, a few boxes of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started printing them. I have a bunch of them myself. Even in my apartment, they're around the place, so I don't bump into wires or anything.
And you're using, or what's being used here is like corrugated plastic?
Yeah, he used corrugated plastic, and there's I don't know what the base is, like they're puzzle pieces, like they stick together like puzzle pieces. I don't know if they're for garden accessories or whatnot, but they're pretty heavy, so they weren't moving as much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I forgot with Scale Science too. I never discussed it, but it's $15 normally to get in.
That's right.
Tuesdays it's $10 if you're wearing Scale Science merch,
Nice.
because it is a shorter day. It's 7 to 10.
Yeah.
And then I think Thursday is 7 to like midnight or whenever everyone wants to leave.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're open late. Fridays it's open till like 2 a.m. and Matsuri weekend there were guys leaving at 5 a.m. and being back there at noon.
No. That's crazy.
Like,
Oh
did you guys
my
go home? No, we slept in the car. Like, what?
Like, hold on, you guys can just pop up a cot here. Like, jeez.
Nice thing is it's usually 420 weekend, and the weather's pretty decent here. You guys
MC1,
probably
MC2.
drinking all your rain then, don't you?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. I think it's the only picture of an MC1 and MC2 together. I haven't seen them before.
I mean, we can fix that. We just gotta get... Actually, Jake doesn't have an MC1 anymore. My MC1 is a mini. Is Judd the only one that has an MC1? No, Neil doesn't have an MC1.
I don't have an MC1 anymore either. I had both of the slide rack version and the bell crank version too.
What is this? We're getting into the castle setup.
Oh, it's just a castle motor. I know what it's going to be. Yep. Okay, so this is a TRX4 transmission on there.
Okay.
It shouldn't happen.
Yeah. It's like, just don't.
Like, if you could see the mounts, the brass mounts underneath, behind the servo,
Yeah.
the Yokomo stock chassis plate, the holes lined up perfect. I was like, I can't believe it. This shouldn't happen, but it worked.
At that point, you just have to do it.
Yeah, so the transmission is floating.
Huh.
And it's a work in progress right now. That's one of the ones that's on my bench right now. I just got to cut the chassis rails down because I can't fit. I only could fit one body. It was the Forester body.
How
was
does,
like, yeah.
How does the rear suspension work on this?
So it will have the chassis rails. So
Okay.
it'll look just like the other ones with probably like a 15-degree angle from the axle
Okay.
onto the rails. The rails will fit perfect, so I don't have to raise the shock height or anything where to mount it, actually. So I just, like I said, I need to cut the rails in. The TRX4 rails are thick, and I've already gone through one Dremel wheel. So yeah, probably 2 or 3 more and I'll be good.
Oh, so since solid axle, you don't get the opportunity to tune any toe in on the rear, huh? Everything is just 0.
Yep.
Do you feel like you're at a disadvantage because of that?
No, not at all. You tune it in the front suspension then.
Okay.
And that pushes your tuning to a higher level because if your front suspension and Ackerman and everything is not tuned up right, it's not going to drive very good.
Okay.
Basically, all it is the power plant for all your traction.
Mm-hmm. So many pictures here.
Hey, you told me to put some on general, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going through, maybe the last 2 years worth of stuff.
Well, I don't regret it.
I only have like 7 or 8 years worth of pictures on my phone.
Right. And to get a new phone and to transfer all of that to the next phone.
Yeah. And the only reason why I have that many now is because Google made it easy and everything transfers now.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the one I just finished building this last week.
So it's a YD2 front.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a crawler. No, I don't even know what's on the rear. Is this your
It's still
company's?
clapped out gang.
Okay.
And then they're just cut down to actually fit. I use my rails the most because they're thin and easier to cut, but they're still very, very strong. So it is 6061 aluminum.
Gotcha. Now, have you done a CC01 conversion?
Yeah, and I blew apart the transmission. So I'm a firm believer of Tamiya being garbage with their transmissions. Well, not the transmission, it was the axle, my bad. The joke is, in the crawler world too, they're made of paper mache.
Okay.
The gears just blow apart if you don't treat them right. But it seems like everyone's having no issues with them. So I might try to do one again.
I know that Metal Garage is like the only name that I've heard of tossed around for the
Yeah.
conversion.
Yeah, Tamaro's conversion is really nice. And it's simple. He'll
This is,
ship to America too. That's the nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Rob Nick has those rotary spur gear covers. Like, those are cool.
So there you go. There's the Trinity D4.
Yep.
that was-
noticing that.
That's the odd purple house casing that they had.
And you're
And
a
then-
fan of just wrapping wires around too. I do
Uh,
this all the time.
if it works, it works.
Yep.
I don't have to go get a zip tie usually. I do have a lot of spaghetti messes. I don't. I'm not afraid of that, but I do a lot of builds, and if I had 1 or 2 chassis, yeah, they'd be super clean.
Now, are you just using like the front half of the axle or the transmission link here from the transmission to the axle?
That's actually it might be an axial drive shaft or a Traxxas.
Okay.
It's something random. I have so many crawler parts as well as drift parts, so if it works, it works for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, have
And
you ever considered trying to have like one of these designs mapped out in CAD or just like in any whatever designer, right? And shipping it out to a carbon fiber cutter?
Yeah, we were going to do that last year. I do CAD work as well.
Okay.
I'm not great with it, but I can make step files, and all of our crawler chassis, yeah, they were all step files designed up in AutoFusion 360, and I lost my license to that after they made it not free anymore. So yeah, I didn't want to pay the $500 or whatever. So it wasn't the same when I started making new step files, and I kind of lost the feeling to make more carbon fiber stuff
Sure.
or aluminum. And a lot of the RC guys found out about the company we were using, Send Cut Send.
Mm-hmm.
Send Cut Send. They've been working with BattleBots for a long time, and BattleBots is honestly the reason why I got into RC cars in the first place. I was going to school for robotics, and I was a teenager, so that didn't fly so well. But yeah, I found out about Send Cut Send because of BattleBots, and they started doing all our cuts and doing the carbon fiber. And now there's a few companies you could choose actually in America that will do your CNC cuts.
It is literally so accessible now, like nowadays, than ever.
Yeah, and the price has gone down drastically. Carbon fiber isn't an arm and a leg. If you're doing titanium, that's the only thing I say. Just be prepared to dish out.
Yeah. So, what are we looking at here? it's a Rev D bell crank,
Rev D bell crank, the Yokomo
bulkhead.
bulkhead, and then that's the Kamikaze suspension tower
Okay.
for the McPherson struts.
Okay.
So
Okay. This
the
makes
D-like extensions are on there too. So you could either mount your ball end or the ball cap on there, and it'll be able to float just like that. And then all you have to do is really tune your Ackerman for the lower part,
Mhm.
and everything should go smoothly. Knock on wood. Last time I did this, it took about 2 months to get it perfect.
You have a Rare Arts YDT case.
Yep.
Your case.
So it's the Rare Arts E Trans.
Did you get the limited edition number plate with it?
I did not.
This was back when what's his name, Randy Beard, right? Was
Yep.
doing it.
It was Randy, yep. And it's
Yeah.
got a CLSD in there.
Nice. High battery.
High battery as well. and that's anyone could do that. It's simple. They're just standoffs that you can get on Amazon. You get like a 10-pack for like $6.
Oh no, brass standoffs, man.
Oh, you can do brass too, but
the brass.
the brass 70mm standoffs don't look pretty like these black ones do. But
Yeah, I
get
think
them
the
in
black
so
ones
much
look
bulk.
nicer.
there's two sizes. There's like a 20mm and a 10mm,
Mm-hmm.
or 25mm and 10mm. These are great to have. As you can see, I have the brass standoffs on there. They're even on the shocks, the D3 shocks.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me do a thing here.
The nice thing about them is you could put them in on one side and attach another screw to the other side. Or if you have tons of standoff grub screws, those work too.
And that concludes your section of pictures.
That's
What an
it?
adventure.
That's it?
That's it?
Oh, I didn't have pictures of the other guy, that's why. But let me pull this out. So this is
Nice.
my Yaris.
Hold on, let me oh,
Go big.
Oh. You are a guest too, I guess.
Don't make me big.
Yeah. Too late.
Oh, my arm broke on this thing. Make everyone big.
Okay, so this is what I need to figure out, you guys.
There you go.
Because not the camera issue, but the like everyone's or trying to cut in to like the Google Teams meet. So if you have any ideas on this, let me know. Because it's like subpar quality when you blow everything up. Okay, what do we got?
So, let's see. We got a YD2S transmission, DDSS. It is my FPV car. So this is fully head trackable. The steering wheel doesn't work right now because I broke it. I hit the wall a little too hard. But yeah, the steering mount broke on that thing. The arm would go though, and the feet also go for the pedals. So when you're gassing, it will actually gas, and the brake will hit when it needs to.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's an additional servo for each action, or do you have it on?
No, I just have it on one servo, and each side, switches.
Okay. Yeah, just thinking through that stuff. It's a lot.
It takes a lot of time to actually come up with it and try to figure out where it's gonna fit in, where it's not gonna cause too much of an issue. 'Cause my Rhino Max 1, like my driver, his foot sticks out and my wheel gets caught on it, and it gets full lock, and I'm like, why is it on full lock? Oh, the driver got caught.
Okay. TJ, Logan, any questions so far?
I actually was gonna have one question, just because I know we have Logan in here who is very weight biased and just he likes his weight. Obviously, with having so many cars and chassis, weight is not an issue for you. Like, you don't need to sit at like a certain said weight. You don't need to be at like a 30-70 like weight bias ratio. You just plop electronics in and go.
Yeah, I guess I'm one of those drivers that you give the controller to and they just figure it out. But most of my cars drive the same. That's why I like to base them off the YD2 setups. I've tuned it so well, tuned it for so long that it's kind of just where it is. But yeah, if I have a comp car, obviously I'm gonna focus more on that weight and try to do mine would be close to like 65-35.
Okay.
I don't like the 7030 as much. I feel like it has a little too much pendulum. But yeah, I do. I know Logan was talking about it last week. Keeping everything together, the ESC, the motor, try to keep all that weight in the same place. It comes from a race background, I think, and when you have that, the car feels more planted and more controllable, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would echo that for sure. Obviously.
Well, I mean that's literally what we're seeing in every single production chassis today.
Yeah.
Like everything is just right there.
And with the RDX too, they were one of the chassis that, for its price, it kind of blew my mind. TDP was the other one, and then the Shark. They're the only ones. I believe there was a Kamikaze actually conversion, but they're the only ones that put the motor over the axle. Having the motor over the axle, in my opinion, gives the car so much more control for where you want to put your rear end.
It's probably because of the pivot point, like how the motor causes the pivot.
It's the pivot point. Yep. It doesn't matter what your weight bias is with that. You could throw a bunch of weight in the front or throw more weight in the rear. As long as that pivot point is still there, especially with the high motor, it makes that pivot point even more increased, like as a fulcrum. And yeah, it's just easy enough to control, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's kind of why I'm building my Yogi, my low motor Yogi, because of where the motor position is and where it's at, and then kind of contrasting it to high motor, because I'll have both.
That's a good way to do it too. Build two of the same chassis and something that's completely different and get the feel out of it.
Yep. All right, let's move on to kind of just your mile high products. Let's talk about that and see what we can cover.
What do you want to start with?
Let's go over the FD lights just to begin everything, because that's kind of been what's hitting. I saw Daniel had a had a comment the other day about it, about how when people ask for, like, asking the manufacturers on what they do for them, how they,
Which I've messaged him, and I actually think I have a message from him again, because he wants something custom, and I can make that work as well. If anyone does have custom ideas, it's not too hard. A lot of the stuff I have, I don't advertise. It's more of, hey, can you do this? And it's like, boom, I have it.
Gotcha. So boutique.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a jack of all trades in the sense. If you need something done, I could get it done.
There you go.
Especially in the RC industry.
Right on. So the FD lights has kind of been like I would say, your biggest hit, probably, like outside of fan shrouds and whatnot.
Yeah, the Kirby I had a lot of exposure with, but it took a while. The FD lights, it was overnight exposure. It was my viral hit, as you would say. Which I know there were other people already designing them and had produced them, but there wasn't a company out there making them and making them readily available for everyone.
Right.
And of course, the same weekend, I dropped mine. I think 2 or 3 days later, Prototype dropped theirs. A few weeks later, Crawlers and Customs dropped theirs as well. So there were a few people that had the market after, but their price point was not reasonable, in my opinion. It was double mine, and I don't think that was affordable.
Yours is?
Mine is affordable.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And mine is fairly affordable. I mean, you can make it for a lot less, but you're going to go through the frustration of all the coding. You're going to have to do all the micro soldering, finding out which pieces you need, which I will tell anyone they need to know, like what board you could use, what lights you could use. That's not too hard. But I can't give out, my code or anything like that. Yeah. That's the stuff that I worked on.
Right, that's IP, right?
Yeah.
Jose is asking where you can get the FD lights from.
Can I post?
I posted a link to your website in the chat.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if I can. But if you go to the Product Watch, there's a few links in the Product Watch on Discord too.
Yes.
I know Adam likes to post my stuff coming out. So, as far as the FD lights, this was the first one. It's nice and small, a little long. Second one came out, and it had the little dip switch, so it made it a little bit bigger, but this was reversible. And this is the third one.
Yep.
The size comparison, you can see it's about half the size. And now it's fully programmable. So if you're running 50-50, if you're running 70-30 trigger points, you can calibrate it just like an ESC. You can change
backwards.
If it's backwards, you could also change your brightness, which was a huge complaint people were getting. It was too bright. It wasn't good for comps because it was a little too bright. Now we could change that up.
Yep.
You could also change the amount of lights are on the LED strip. So if you're running a window banner, which I know a lot of guys do, and then the lights hide behind the window banner, now you could drop it down and actually have the full showing. Or if you want to do, say 5 lights only, now it's 20% per light instead of what it is now, where it's 9 lights, so it's kind of a random math,
And no one's as far as like V3 goes, no one's had the whole like stall out issue, right? Where
No.
Just good.
I've had one issue so far out of all the ones I sent out, and we don't know what's going on, but we got a replacement sent out to him right away. No questions asked. I just sent, what's your address here? I'll send it out to you. Take care of it. That's the easiest way, in my opinion. And a lot of people have said my customer service is above beyond because of that. And I feel like it's just like, hey, that's how I would treat someone else that's in this community. We're all together. The RC hobby's small. The drifting scene's even smaller. So I'm going to treat everyone even more fair than I should. And it's how I'd want to be treated. So if I go deal with another company, I would be blown away if they treat me like this too.
Gotcha. So can you tell us a little bit how you wire it up in a rig? Because it's so straightforward, but like if you're just thinking about it or just thinking of the product, it might not be.
I always think it's straightforward, and then I'm like, yep, common sense isn't common. That's the bad thing. But they do come just like this. This is your bag. It has the instructions on it now to make it a little bit easier. They do have brake lights on the Pro version, so the wiring is a little bit more, but simply enough, you got 2 sides. You got a male and a female, right? The female goes to your lights, the male goes to your receiver, and there's a splitter for both sides. So you are going to split your ESC and the module, so it has the knowledge of where your throttle position is. If it doesn't go to channel 2, it's not going to know. But you can also use channel 4. It's a little confusing, but you can mix channel 4 with throttle, especially with Futaba, Fly Sky, Dumbo RC. I know you could do it. Spectrum, just about everyone. Sanwa, I don't know how to do it, but I've seen guys do it, and they said that worked for them. So you could actually do that as well and run that there. Before, that was the fix when someone had 70-30, and my modules were made for 50-50. So you'd have to trim it, and if you trim your throttle, obviously you're going to be going reverse or forward. But if you're on channel 4, it doesn't affect your throttle.
I didn't even think about that for the V2 of it. And then I got one of your prototypes of V3, which didn't have the memory function. So that's where everything got fixed. So you guys, the V3 has no recalibration on it. You do it once, and it's there until you redo the throttle profile.
Yep. Yeah, you could always hold the button in and turn it on, just like you would do with an ESC to set that calibration, or your endpoints on your gyro. You could reset it anytime just by re-engaging that state.
It's a lot faster than the well, I mean, it's fine. It's fast. Like the startup process is next to nothing. Like once your car is on, the initialization it's already there.
Yeah, so prototype is the main component to like why I started needing to do a calibration. Since they're using older boards, it doesn't have the same memory features or the amount of memory. These smaller boards, they're newer, more memory, faster, and about the same price. Technology's come a long way with these, and um, you could do a ton more with them. So with the V2 and the V1, we were running at about 85% memory, which I think that might be why there was sometimes errors and it would freeze up because it would push its memory, just like a computer would crash a game if you push it too hard. The V3 though, it's running at 13 or 14% memory,
Jeez.
even with the calibration and the extra features, which is 3 or 4 times the amount of code as the V2.
So could you do multiple outputs just from a single box and have multiple functions?
Yeah.
So
we do.
theoretically-
With the Pro, we have that. We have the FD lights that go to your windshield, and then I have another one that goes as a brake only. So it works for your tail lights. And you could either get it as a single strip or you could get it as a split strip, so you could actually put it in your tail light buckets.
Could you add in the underglow as well?
I can add underglow.
There you go.
With this box, though, it is a little small. So I would have to make the box a little bit bigger just because there is only one ground and one voltage pin.
Right.
So it's limited on that. Even this is kind of pushing it because all the wires are stacked on top of each other.
But that is also one of our kind of highlighted topics as well, just Arduinos in RC and kind of where we're going with that. We've got FD lights, we've got what else is running off of the Arduinos that you have?
Oh, the dashboards.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Prototype or limited run dashboard.
Yeah.
Oh,
So my dash kit is using an Arduino. It is using an older model. It's a Pro Mini. And the reason why I use that is because it actually has what we call AVR, Arduino architecture, basically. To be able to run the speedometer, it's a bitmap. So I had to make each picture you see of it going needle to needle. I had to make
Like every frame of it, basically.
every frame. Yeah. And then I had to squeeze it all into one and be able to make the Arduino read it and take the input and move it.
You literally became an animator for a bit.
Exactly. It's what it is. It literally is animation. Same effects you would use for animation in Arduino. So if you see like, what is that? The Dase Mochi?
Yeah.
How it's got the little animated face and everything. It's the same thing. It's just a little Arduino in there.
So why only 140 miles per hour?
Well, I mean, whose car goes over that? So I based it off of an S13, and their dashboard said 140.
Gotcha.
So I was like, cool, that works for me. That sounds like a reasonable number. I mean, most drifters are, in FD are doing like what, 70 to 90 at their top speeds. So I mean, 50 to 60 is like their average speed through most of the drifts.
Do you have a pricing on this yet?
On the dash kit?
Yeah.
The dash kit is $50, and it comes with the screen for the speedometer and a servo actuated tachometer, which it's not painted. Your screen is blank, so you could do whatever you want, and that's why I'm calling it the DIY kit. There are dashboards coming in the future, but as for now, I wanted to get this out there so I could see what people do with it, because I know there's other people that could do more than I can do with their single car and implementing this and making it look better.
And Do you have any ideas of what else you want to do with Arduinos, or just your product, really?
No.
Actually, sorry. What other products do we have, or do you have?
Finding new ideas is the hard part. Innovation is the hard part in reality. When you really think about it, like a lot of things have been done already, but now that we have some more newer technology, we could actually make them a little bit better.
So what about your other stuff? Oh, Logan?
There's I was just going to bring up the proximity meter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
I have one of those right here. So, let me pull this thing out really quick. So they are USB powered. There's a USB-C spot in there. This might blind you guys.
You're good. You're fine.
I was like, okay, I know I get blinded, but they work. The closer you get, the more the lights light up, and you could change the colors. So if you want yellow instead, or if you want it to be a different corner, say on the course, the track, whatever, that's the purple corner, or that's the blue corner.
That's kind of cool.
It's also good for practicing at home, just to see, like, okay, how close am I getting? How much am I progressing? I got 3 lights this time. Can I get 4 lights next time? The goal, obviously, is to get all 6 lights lit up, so your butt's right on there like a real drift car would be.
That's pretty awesome, and that'd be a cool thing for tracks to implement. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as, you know,
Oh,
the
we've
track
seen
being
it.
a fun place to go, it'd be.
We've seen it in what was the one that Tech One Drift just went to overseas?
EDC.
ADC, yeah, they had the DS racing ones. He's upgraded it, and I believe he's using LiDAR. So LiDAR is a small radar basically, and he's doing overhead readings. So he's getting really, really precise readings on where the car is.
Yeah,
That's
they
pretty
also
cool.
had it at Super G,
Mhm.
but it was only infrared.
Yep.
Yeah, and they were having problems with it because it wasn't reflecting off the floor properly. Like,
Yep.
it was getting confused and whatnot. So that's
Yeah.
why.
Infrared works kind of weird. It doesn't like cold. It likes hot temperatures. If it's on cement, if it's parallel with cement, it works much better. But if it's angled to cement, it bounces off it and doesn't reflect right. So you get weird readings, and that's one of the issues that I've been having with the proximity sensors in general here. So we've been trying to troubleshoot it and make it as easy as possible for people to use at their track.
Right on. Is there a calibration process for it, or
Nope.
can you calibrate it to whatever you want it to be?
No, it's just calibrated as is. So it reads up to 30 centimeters.
Okay.
I mean, these sensors can read I think 20 meters. So they can read really, really far. But these certain ones could read 3 centimeters as the minimum. And most sensors can't do that. LiDAR is the only other one that can do that close of a sensor. So you could put it right on trackside and have the cars come right up to it and make it a little bit more of an attraction, I guess.
I mean, I guess with some creative placement, you could overcome that, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's like prime lenses and cameras. It's like you don't zoom, you just move.
Yep. So as far as other products, we got magnetic quick connects.
Yeah, those are
Those
cool
are
that
cool.
you showed me.
So these things, in my opinion, are a game changer. I've been seeing people wire up their magnets on their body mounts, and that is, you have an open voltage right there. Carbon fiber is conductive. So you have a very good chance of frying your receiver, your battery, any of that. The worst case or best case scenario would be, you just burnt out the wire. But these ones, they're made so much better. You could run three cable as well, a 3-wire, so you could run a servo, but they just pull apart and snap back together. And since they're what we call 3/6 360-degree suction blind. You could turn it whatever way you want. Whereas some other ones, you can only go a certain way. The D-like ones, they had to add a magnet to theirs because the polarity of the magnets would make it so you would actually plug it in backwards.
Yep.
But their magnet makes it so you can't. These ones you can't really plug in backwards unless you plugged it in backwards on these sides.
And even still, though, like technically, if you plugged it in backwards, you'd be getting a signal and a 5-volt.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But you still can short it out if it is something that's higher amperage, because it is getting a ground where the signal should be.
Right.
Castle ESCs used to do that all the time. Not so much anymore, but they're old ESCs. So we saw the dashboard. Dash kit comes with the tachometer separate. So you don't have to run the tachometer too. You could plug it in, or you could run something else, like a handbrake. It is going to go forward though. So if you do run the handbrake, just make sure you're running it backwards. You'd have to change your fulcrum point. That's it. It's confusing, but play around with it a little bit and you get it.
That's what this hobby is all about.
Oh, definitely. If you're not experimenting and you're just building as is, that's your cup of tea. That's cool. But for me, I came from Legos and BattleBots, and I just want to build crazy stuff that I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try to make it work. But next product we got is the lit up LED. This is the underglow kit. So it's got a 68 patterns. Yeah, 68 patterns saved into it. That was the max I could fit in there without it overrunning. And this is a custom PCB, Arduino based still too. All your underglow kits you see, scale reflex light kits, those are Arduino based as well. They're the ones that run the code, so you could run, like the police lights going back and forth. Without that, you don't really have a way to tell the lights what to do. So deep down, they're all Arduino based. Just the smaller ones are custom PCB with all the other accessories that you don't need just removed. And a lot of people think they cost a little bit more. Realistically, if you do PCB way and you order a bulk amount, they're about $3 to $4 a piece. So same price as Arduino would cost if you bulk order them. And they do what you want, plus they're much smaller factor. That's all you need for them. But these work as underglow for cars, and then we have a 2-foot long strip. It's two strips for each side, or 1 strip for each side. So 2 strips in each package, and we market it towards the haulers. I don't know if you can see the little Red Cat hauler back here, but there's also the Traxxas hauler, or if anyone has a crazy big body, trailers too. But putting underglow kits on anything just to give it a little bit more style, and it brings more attention always.
Right on.
It's awesome.
All right, and I think the last thing I got is the accessories. It's just the donut shroud. You guys seen the Kirby? I got a bunch of Kirbys, and then the scale accessory pack. I pulled them all out. This is just having fun with it.
The camera.
Yeah, so you got your DSLR. You got your steering wheel, of course.
Does it come with a quick connect?
No, but it does come with a magnet. So if you do want to put a magnet into your...
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. We got a rear view mirror. So I was making the mirror effect for it, and I the hobby town by me does not carry the Triple X main reflective tape anymore. So I had to find something to replace it. And not listed on there. It's gonna be hard to see.
For the glove, it's at number 1. It's a,
Little radio.
No,
no, it's a cell phone.
It's a vape.
Oh,
So it's a 10 scale vape, and it actually fits in a lot of the driver's hands perfectly.
Funny.
And I made those raw colored, just black, so you could paint them up and do them all yourself. Everyone has their own style, and I was making things custom style for a while, but I noticed like, hey, I don't like that because, that's not the color choice I'd want to go with. And I was like, okay, we're just gonna start doing some raw stuff again, and that seemed to be doing a lot better.
on. Let's see. When are the FD lights going to be back in stock?
Oh, they're in stock. Now you're making me check.
You're in stock.
Yeah, they're in stock.
You might be looking at the add-on kit.
Wait, does the add-on kit say 0?
Yeah.
Not
He's like,
anymore.
1 second, let me change that.
It's like, I can help that.
So normally with Shopify, it's pretty nice because you could go ahead and set your inventories in there, and you could even set it so it'll still sell even after you run out of inventory. And most of the time, the inventory I have, especially with the FD lights, if it's not on there, it's because, hey, I didn't package any, and they're just sitting here. I just need to package them up.
I still wish, like, the next step would be the cob lights.
What are you
it's
talking about? Let's here.
Well, no, but the really, like, all in the tinier lights.
Hold on, I'll be right back for it.
It's just the voltage that's the change, because it's like 12 volts versus the 5 volts.
All right, so here's the start of them. This is
Yep.
brake lights. So these are half the size, I think. I have another FD light laying around. They're much smaller than the FD lights now, as in width. So they're thinner and they're not spaced out. It's like it's diffused.
Yes.
So it looks much, much, much better. I don't have it.
When we were talking about it last time, it was just trying to get the voltage right, because most of those are 12 volt.
Yeah, and these are single color, so these are just red for brake lights. But I have found ARGB ones, which ARGB is addressable. That's what the FD lights use. That's how you can control each individual light and which color it is. I have found 5 volt ones. They still are a little expensive, but we might make the transition just for a better quality of life for everyone.
Yeah. I think, because I do think it would look overall just a better aesthetic being one strip instead of like individual LEDs, which they are, but yeah.
And when they're really bright, it kind of blurs them together. That's kind of why they were bright for the first versions as well.
Right. So, any ideas on what your next products are going to be?
Yeah, the next one's the dashboard. So I will have a full dashboard, racing style dashboard with steering wheel, tachometer, and the speedometer in the dash. I got a little preview of it.
Here we go.
So it has the kill switch. It has your flip buttons as well. I can make the gauges, or we could do LED lights for it as well. Gonna add a shift light to the tachometer as well.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then this is another one we're working on, but really not feasible yet. If it'll turn on. So I don't know if you could see it, but I got Initial D playing, and the knobs up here.
Oh, there's volume. There's volume.
Oh yeah, there's volume too. I don't know if you could actually hear it, but yeah. So you could actually add videos to these, and add your own custom videos. So
That's awesome.
the first thing I got people asking for was adult content, and I said no. But when you get yours, you could add your own.
I know Logan's gonna add.
Is there a specialized format that it needs to be in?
Yeah, but we will have. That's one of the harder parts about it is trying to find a formatter that I could just, have people do. Same with like Bluetooth apps. All these FD lights, they're actually Bluetooth and Wi-Fi compatible.
Yep.
We were working on a Bluetooth app. The cost is just astronomical, though. For us to put it on Google Play Store, it would have costed more than if the company was worth. And yeah, so that wasn't a good idea, obviously. But we can always do an aftermarket app. You'd have to download it. People are skeptical about that. I don't blame them. I don't want to download an APK if I don't know if it's a good company. All trusted ones go through Google, obviously. So if it's going through the Play Store or Apple iOS, it's the same cost, just about. Apple was a little bit cheaper, actually, if I just did Apple. But then I only have Android, so I can't test it. It's the hard point. So nowadays, if you build an app, you have to build it for both. So you're paying for both.
I mean, as far as functionality goes, like what we have right now is great. Push button settings is easy enough, and it's never gonna fail.
Yep.
Logan's stash is gonna be set up with ballpark hot dog commercials. Yeah.
This is a Hebrew national household, so you can take your ballparks and you can keep them. I don't want that crap.
I was raised in Chicago, and I can't do Vienna beef anymore. It's all Hebrew national.
There you go.
That's tasting.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the. I was gonna say the what is it? The Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
There you go.
Nathan's
just gonna
get Joey Chestnut on there all day.
Yeah. Joey Chestnut compilations.
Highlight reel.
Only Joey Chestnut or like Matt Stoney.
I mean, you gotta have Kobayashi on there too.
Look, I'm not a gambling man anymore, but when I do make bets, it's on Joey Chestnut. How many hot dogs is he gonna eat this year?
Hold on. We do have one roast my workbench in there right now, and I do want to bring it up here.
Yeah, you guys can't really roast my workbench because all you see is cars on it right now. Normally it's pretty clear, but since I do a lot of 3D printing stuff, it takes up the space.
Hey, Jose. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Just one lone shark hanging up on the wall. Don't you have a Z
I
chassis
have to turn
too?
my head to. I don't know how to look at this photo.
Yeah, it is weirdly composed, and I'm not sure what the subject is meant to be.
It's not even weird. It's a wide angle lens pointing at the corner of the room. Like,
yeah, it's just
tilted weird.
How do you get to your second monitor? Is it like my second monitor where it just has the mailbox and that's it?
Yeah. One lone shark. He has to
there's
somewhere.
There's probably a lot of shark decks like that are just nothing installed on them, right?
Everyone hates the weight, and I personally like it. I think that's one of its characteristics is its weight.
I'd agree.
Small shark's gonna get eaten by an orca. That's all I'm saying.
Technically, I mean, if you've talked to Chris, the establishment, the orca is a golem. High motor golem.
I'm surprised
With
no
the
one's come out with
DDSS.
the orca conversion yet for it. I'm waiting for it.
We've talked about it.
This entire bag is probably close to
Overdose.
$1,000 worth of random chassis.
And it's just in a bag.
Yeah, it's just in a bag. Although the coolest one, not the MC1. This is probably the most rare one, because this came out by a company called Realize or Drift 15 House.
Okay.
Basically, it was a Taiwan company. I was doing some prototype working, like testing them for them, and then one day they just disappeared and vanished.
Sadly, that happens.
So,
But then you get new companies that pop up out of nowhere, like RC Bingo, just popping up out of nowhere and everyone having their chassis. I'm like, what is going on? Carbon Fury being another one.
yeah, Carbon Fury has been hitting it hard, like with their RDX hyper flex chassis, where it's basically like no chassis.
It's a trampoline. That's what that is. Bounces one way, bounces back the other way.
But hey, I mean, if it works, it works.
It looks good. That's a big thing. It looks really good.
Oh, hey everybody. Okay. This. Have you tried it yet? Have you tried the Trace Vector in the radio? Logan, have you tried this?
That's what I have right now.
And
I've been running that for like a week. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to say if it's just like I think I notice it, but I don't know if I actually notice it or not. I want to see like lab data with like a scope or something.
so
Yeah. Oh, Kevin will probably come out with that. I guarantee it. If he's got an oscilloscope.
yeah, so not only Kevin, but the Metal Garage guys, I think are the ones that also had like a capacitor thing to put in the radio.
But theirs was made for Sanwa.
Right. I mean, but they at least still like showed the O scope at RCDC.
Yes. Yep.
So like, does it make a difference? Yes. Does it make a feelable difference? I don't know. Because I've been running mine.
Torio swears by it now, saying there's a low and mid end difference. Like you could actually feel it.
Like as a part of the car, yeah, but I don't know
As
about
far
the
as
radio.
you're transmitting, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, because it's like all that's going from the radio to from the battery to the radio is power and ground. There's no signal to filter. It's literally just filtering power.
Which power has noise too, so filtering out some of that noise does make sense.
Sure. Yeah. But like Kevin was saying, it was mainly only noticeable on highly like slick surfaces. So that was the key there. So there's still validity to it. I just don't know how much for us running on P-tile.
Yeah, I can't say that I like majorly noticed it like with any type of certainty.
Mm-hmm. I can say that I did it.
Yeah.
Or that it's there.
I need to
Brian,
play with that more. I kind of just have been. I plugged it in there and I just ignored it, but I need to move mine around a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, run 20 laps with it, run 20 laps without it, and then do that again. See what the big difference is if you notice.
Yep.
The biggest, not game changer, but the biggest like impact that I've seen from the Trace Vector is in between the receiver and the ESC. For me though, that it had a negative impact because it made it feel numb, which it depends on how you define things, right? Because me saying numb could technically be more consistent just because of the whole like what I like in driving style. But the recommendation for most of us is between the gyro and the servo. Yeah, is that where you're running, Logan?
No, I've only really done it in the transmitter because I like saw that post the day that I got it. So
No.
You don't have the AccuVance Christmas tree on your chassis?
no, not yet.
No.
I did.
Not yet.
I,
That's the keywords.
I did install a Blaze on the ESC, and then I have a Vector, but I need to play with it more.
Can you even run the AccuVance without the Blaze these days?
Yeah.
'Cause there's no protection, right? So the Blaze is the only protection?
Blaze wouldn't be the protection, but the Zarvis XX and the Rad have built-in reverse polarity, which
Okay.
I think is in the form of a diode on the bottom of it.
Nope, that's not good.
Well,
It works, but there's a failure point.
yeah. But yeah, you can technically run and with the small capacitor at least. I've never seen one not have it. Not a capacitor. It's funny though, like the AccuVance ESCs are old. Like the Rad is their newest thing, but
Yep.
it's like it's all old.
But they were still able to update most of it with the firmware, which
Yep.
is nice.
And even more, like the Rad and the XX can go up to what 64 kilohertz now, which is insane.
Yeah, I need to get on that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't you have to update it though, right?
And you have to have a TAO because there's no Futaba update yet.
Yet. Probably this week, though.
Well, I mean, let's check.
I guarantee they'll probably have it before Chinese New Year, which is 2 weeks away.
Because everything shuts down
For a month.
crazy. Transmitters. Nope. No updates yet. FYI, if you're looking for something about your radio, like specifically the gyro, like the 550 gyro, or just like knowing things about the radio, oftentimes the best place to look is the change log for the patch.
Right.
Yep. It's the same with video games. When your video game gets updated, you look at the patch notes and you're like, oh, they nerfed my gun. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Yes,
like, oh,
I know
sweet,
it
the
is
game
reading.
64 kh. I don't know what that means, but and then
Right.
people try it and they're like, whoa, it's got so much more response.
Yeah.
Which that response is good and bad. For fast drivers, I think the response is good. For a newer driver, I think they're going to put the 64 on there and they're going to feel like they're going slower.
I think that'll be the same effect with like a veteran driver too, right? Because it's
Possibly.
like for me, right? Because I like to have a little bit of punch there. But if you're gonna give me 64k kilohertz of sampling rate, right? I'm gonna feel like it's just smoother overall, which is not a bad thing. But
And with Futaba, you could run it 70-30 and put your endpoints to 140.
yep.
Recalibrate it all, and yeah, you have a ton of response. Like you have a wide range that other radios can't really do. Sandwalk could do it, but you know, your Fly Sky Noble can't do that range. Spectrum, not even close.
And you can't specifically, well, not specifically, but like I think with a V4 gyro, you have to be careful with the endpoints because you can exceed the range and like freak the
Easily.
gyro out.
Oh, easily. If you set your endpoints and then you change your range on your radio, yeah, you're gonna see like full lock every time too.
Mm-hmm.
The Yokomo gyro doesn't know how to actually stop it from there.
Right. All right, Logan, DJ, do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
No, not off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot this one.
Yeah.
Well, so next weekend we're going to be talking about competition, and also next weekend we're going to have. Oh, shoot! I was talking to him just earlier today.
You already forgot.
I already forgot. Hold on. It's on my calendar. I can look.
I know you said it last week too, and I forgot.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Next week is with Josh Florido from East Bay Sliders.
East Bay Sliders. There you go.
Yeah, so we'll get to see a little bit more products come our way. See what he's got, and I think he might be at the track as well. So we'll probably get to see Rolling Garage.
Nice.
I believe.
If Josh starts doing Arduino stuff, he's gonna put out some crazy things. 'Cause even his backfire kit's so simple, but it works.
Right, because it's all based off of inertia. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's all just there. All right. Anything you want to finish up with, Mike or Mark? Wow.
Everyone calls me Mike. It's the easiest name to go to. No, I don't have anything else.
All right. Then let me just
3 hours flew by again. Every weekend.
It goes fast.
Especially, yeah, if you're like in the midst of it, yeah. It probably felt a lot faster than watching it, I guarantee.
Well, normally when I'm watching, I got something to do. You know, I'm either working on a body or whatnot, so I'll come back 10 minutes later and start chatting again.
Yeah. So just a reminder, you guys, if you have any topics or things that you'd like to see on the stream, go ahead and throw them in the topics and ideas section of Discord. As usual, if you have any projects, go ahead and post your stuff in Roast My Rig or Roast My Workbench, or you can post pictures of your pets. Take your pick. We do all sorts here. But yeah, so Logan, DJ, any reminders or anything that we need to know about the competition coming up next week?
Not really. We did plan on changing the track today, but that was there's no power. There's no power at the shop, and the roads were a bit sketchy, so that didn't happen. I'm not too sure what we're gonna do about that. I think we'll probably end up doing more of another modification of the current layout, probably Saturday evening.
Well, and you'll have Canada guys Saturday evening as well.
Yeah, they'll be there all day Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna do all day Saturday and all day Sunday. We'll see.
I mean, I'm in that same boat, but travel is kind of like key component here.
Yeah, we'll see if the roads are even in shape enough for that.
DJ, what are you driving? Are you driving your RMX?
That's all you got.
Yeah, that's all I got right now.
All you need.
We can convert your B6, your B7, B6.
Yeah,
Buggy.
technically, yeah. It's a lot of the same parts as the YD2s, right?
Yep, we just need bigger angle and a body that fits.
Well, plus you got to get rid of the. What does the B6 have? Like 30 degrees of caster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big caster from any buggy, really.
Yep.
It's all doable. We can do it. We can try.
I mean, shoot,
It's been done before.
I'm motivated now after seeing all the chassis that he's got.
Right.
I know, right?
Spare parts, they come in handy.
Oh, I know, right? And then it makes you really sad because you have all of it, and then it's like you have a visual of like what you could do, and then you start doing it, and then it just adds up even more because you want to finish it.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, dang. Okay, you guys. Well, it's been another fun stream. I think we'll start playing. I don't know. Logan, we never decided on an Aceto day, huh?
I don't think we landed on anything. No.
No. Keep your eyes out on Discord. We might come up with a set Aceto day. Which, Mark, do you Aceto?
Yeah, now that it's like negative weather, the sim rig gets played with more. So yeah, Car X is for fun. Aceto's for actually practicing real drifting.
Okay, we'll be there. Keep your eyes out on the
Yeah.
chat, so we can grow that group too. CarX is already good. We had like 10 people in the lobby the other day. That was crazy.
Nice.
Last night too was a pretty good group.
I think that's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last night is the other day.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. If you've made it this far, like, subscribe, share. Do share because we do want to start getting to a larger audience. Again, stay safe. If you're in Oregon, watch out for other people on the roads because it is just ice out here.
Yep.
Other than that, you guys have fun. Until next week. Later.
Later.